Everywhere you go in the city, there is the constant reminder of history. Just like this guy, Dr. Bob Hartley of a famous TV show set here on Navy Pier in the 1970s, and he was famously a psychologist. Now, psychology playing a big part in tonight's racing. It is the Elite Pro Doubles race, and the women are going to take to the course first. Now, this requires a little bit of nous. There is, of course, teamwork, there is mindset, and there is a togetherness that can only come from hours and hours of practice. And if you get all these things right, well, it might just pay off in a World Championship. Isn't that right, Doctor? Me and you next.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to Chicago. We're on Navy Pier and we're back in the thick of the Hyrox action as we're bringing you tonight the Elite Doubles in its inaugural year. Alongside me, Till Schenk, Greg Williams from the Rocks Life. Gents, it's another exciting race ahead.
This is going to be absolutely wild. I think we've seen great races so far throughout the weekend, but I think what's happening tonight is just going to beat everything. This is going to be Hollywood-style entertainment we're going to experience tonight.
Yeah, so much excitement about tonight. So many athletes wanting to be part of this race this evening, competing across the globe to be part of it. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious. It's very, very exciting.
So we've got a huge amount coming up throughout the day of racing, but through today, the age groups have been back on course. You've been on the finish line. What's it been like?
Oh, it's been absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic. That fight all the way to the finish line. I mean, athletes really left it all out there. We had celebrations, we had the spectators out there. It was a big, big party, and new records set, personal records and everything. It's really a beautiful thing to experience.
I love the age groups. It's been great watching them race all weekend long. This is what our weekenders look like, and we're smack bang in the middle of things. We have got our Elite Pro Doubles tonight. Tomorrow, though, still a full day of racing ahead, and we close what's been a spectacular weekend with our first ever Adaptive Invitational. Greg, what does that mean? Bringing in another new format in our Adaptive Invitational at World Championships is something special.
Yeah, it is something special. It's really like developed throughout this season, and it's a great way to finish like a great weekend, really.
Well, we've looked ahead. I do think it's well worth looking back, because last night was chock-a-block, full of drama. I mean, I think that's actually an understatement. Till, talk us through what happened with the US in the Elite Team Relay.
First, I love how you picked up on the chock-a-block, the Australian slang nobody understands. We see it in the video here in the background, that little body check there from Hunter McIntyre towards Jeremy from Ireland. And, you know, everybody's seen the video by now, and there's been so much discussion and everything about it. Quite frankly, for me, it's a race scenario. It's an action creates a reaction scenario. It's right to disqualify Hunter. You know, we've all seen it. You cannot do that in a race. But I think Jeremy is, you know, should be lucky with the outcome right now. Should be happy with that. It happens. It's racing. They were hugging at the finish line. You know, they worked it out for themselves. And with that, I think everybody else should be done with it as well. And it changed the whole scenario, obviously. So USA disqualified, you know, as a result, means Australia is now our invitational relay winner. And what a fabulous race they had with, you know, James Kelly. Here we go. That is that duel that we had before the disqualification with Joanna Vittrick and Lauren Weeks at the wall balls. It was so close. And then, yeah, Australia moving up. The winner now, James Newberry, in the mix there as well. Jess Petro. It's a fantastic team. They race so hard. And honestly, I think it's just going to mean we're going to have a great race 2026, again, between these countries, without a doubt.
Greg, it wasn't just the controversy around the US relay, but there was also a photo finish as well.
Yeah, that's right. So Australia ultimately took first place, which meant that there was spots open for second and third. Now, Hyrox have decided today that second place will be shared between both Belgium and England, because they couldn't split the decision between either of them. So the second spot will be shared, and the second and third prize money will be shared between them as well.
And I think that is important because prize money does matter to these athletes as they're trying to create a career out of this sport. But this is the final results from our mixed relay invitationals. And of course, it means everyone's boosted up with Germany and Canada rounding out the top 5. But enough about the relay. We're going to put that to bed and we're going to look ahead to the excitement that tonight is going to bring. I'm delighted to say we're going to have a very special guest join us in studio any second now. But what about the doubles, gents? Talk me through that concept. It's brand new to the elite level of racing, but it's something till we're so familiar with.
I mean, it's such an exciting format, you know. It's again, it adds another layer, another style of racing to Hyrox, and it's become such a popular format for the athletes as well. You've seen that throughout the season, so much focus from the elite on it and so on. And Greg, I mean, like, you know, you've raced it as well. It's so much fun and really adds excitement to the sport.
Yeah, it's fun. It can be super fast, it can be super challenged, super intense, but being able to do that along with a partner and then share the stations and split the workout, and there's tactics come into it as well very much. It's a super exciting format, I find, yeah.
Do you know who else finds it exciting? It's not just us, the amateurs, but it's also plenty of the athletes as well, as we see the venue that our athletes are going to take to the floor. We're back on the grid, that brand new center carpet that is causing some, I don't know, disruption. It's definitely proving difficult for our athletes, but they're finally getting their head around it. And now for some of these guys, it's going to be the third opportunity that they have to push across it. But look at that, look how big this venue is. What an occasion for a World Championships and our final elite race of the entire season. Going back to that fun of the doubles though, it's not just you guys that love it, it is our elite athletes as well. And at the heart of that, there are two sisters who are looking forward to a tasty battle tonight.
So our first Hyrox was in Amsterdam in 2022. Yeah. And we actually did it separately. But once we were at the venue and we saw the teams competing, we were wondering why did we ever register like apart from each other and not together, because the teams looks like so much more fun.
Yeah, I think doubles is super special because you can share that moment with another person and you can cross the finish line together and it feels like you've done something together.
It's more fun to suffer together. At least you know that there's one person by your side that's going through the same thing as you are, and you can
share the pain.
Yeah, share the pain. The way we split the workouts actually worked quite nice for us because we have different strengths and weaknesses. On the skier, we do 125 meters each. Then sled push, we do a length each. Sled pull, I have to think about it because we changed it in London.
You have 2.5 in total and I have 1.5 in total.
Yeah. And burpees,
we do 7, 6.
And then 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. So we do it based on number of reps. The rower, we do 300, 250, 250, 200. Yeah. Then farmer's carry, usually it's like 50 meters, 50 meters, 60 meters. And then lunges, she does about 2/3 of the lunges and I do 1/3. Because I really don't like the lunges and she does. And then wall balls, it depends on how we feel.
She does a lot because the biggest set mostly is like 25, 30 and then she does all the rest.
I love the wall balls. I think as siblings, we normally almost don't talk in a race, maybe say 2 words to each other. I think it's more of an advantage than a disadvantage. The arguing, we keep it to a minimum, surprisingly. It's nice to be able to practice the transitions.
Yeah, I think the transitions are important.
Now in the Elite 15 doubles, because all the times are so close together, every second counts, so every transition is important. Yeah, if I could choose any doubles partner,
That's a difficult one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sound really mushy, but I think I would still go with you.
I'm thinking about it.
Maybe Chris Hemsworth as a mixed doubles partner?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
Chris Hemsworth would be yeah, okay. I retract my answer. Charlotte is not my favorite doubles partner. I want to do a doubles with Chris Hemsworth, so if he's listening, hit me up.
Nice to know.
No. She's my favorite.
We are the Van Linlof sisters. We're here to go faster than we've ever gone before.
I love them. Greg, I assume you also want to race with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. Maybe not as much as you two would, though.
Well, delighted to say we have Megan Jacoby joining us in studio. Meg, oh my gosh, this weekend for you, it's been so different. How have you found the experience not being in the middle of the race?
It feels very strange, to be honest. But I actually had a lot of fun getting to cheer on my competitors the other night. My voice was completely gone. And amazing to see the outcome of the race. I'm so happy for Linda Meyer. Raced pro women's doubles, had a world record with her, so I was really excited to see her finally have a great showing at World Championships.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular and
Yeah.
something special. Let's delve into strategy. You at one point in time held the world record for the doubles with Linda. How did you approach races like this?
You know, what's funny is sometimes we don't really have the greatest strategy, and it's a little bit of winging it. And as the sisters were just saying, they do get to practice together a lot, so it will be really interesting to see how that plays out for them, because most of the teams likely don't get to train together that often. So having that strategy and they had mentioned they barely even communicate, it will be really interesting to see how that comes to play for them in comparison to a lot of the other teams, who some of them don't even live anywhere near each other.
Knowing what we know now about the doubles becoming a principal part of the Elite 15 next season, how important is it going to be to start choosing partners based on proximity and how well you do know each other?
I think it's going to become definitely the next big thing, and I think people will get really strategic with who they choose. The closer together you are as athletes, especially in the running, the better off you're going to be in a doubles. And yeah, getting to practice together is going to make a massive difference, because there isn't that, is it my turn? Is it my turn? There's less hesitation on the transition, so those will definitely be faster. So yeah, I think the athletes could be totally different. The single elite athletes could end up being polar different than the doubles elite athletes, and they kind of have two different skill sets. So I think we'll see that continue to develop as this elite category develops in the sport.
And actually, that is something that's going to be so exciting tonight, because we do have a huge amount of individual Elite 15 athletes who have joined together in some great partnerships, as you can see in our start list. Lauren Weeks and Lauren Griffith have been partners for quite some time now, and the proximity of Viola Oberlander and Linda Meyer obviously might well pay off. But Maria Fetchik and Jess Petro there, Canadian versus Australia living in the US. They've obviously trained together out in Miami where they took the win, but again, it's a really interesting dynamic to see who's choosing who. And then when you look down in that 12 and 13 lanes of Lucy Proctor and Sinead Benton, Zara Piergiani and Kate Davey, those are two groups of people who very much spent a lot of time training together, looking at the men's as well. What do you make of that, Greg? We've obviously got our world record holders right at the top there.
Yeah, super fast world record holders in Pelayo, Menendez and Rich Ryan. But the thing that jumps out to me from that lineup is literally anyone could be on that podium at the end of the night. Like that race in particular is going to be so close, so hard to call. Like those partnerships are incredible. Like from 1 to 15.
A late change there, Colin Steefer and Grayson Kilgore coming in to replace James Kelly and Jake Dearden, who dropped out, or Jake Dearden dropped out on Thursday night's Elite 15 race due to back trouble. Colin Steefer, the last minute man. Oh my gosh, how many elite races can he enter on the final 24-hour period? It's absolutely brilliant. Now let's go back to how we got here. Can you explain the development of how athletes were selected to race in this race, Greg?
Yeah, sure. So over the season, there were 5 events selected as qualifiers for this race, and ultimately it was going to be the top 3 in the pro doubles divisions at those 5 qualifiers that would qualify to give 15 qualifiers overall. And you can see there, like the qualifiers were Melbourne, Houston, Miami, Paris, and London, and those were the winners that we saw from each of those races.
And over the course of this period of time, 3 world records were set.
Yeah, we've seen some super fast times. So on the women's side, it was Joanna Wettrick and Tia-Claire Toomey set the world record in Houston. And then also in Houston, we saw James Kelly and Jake Dearden break the world record, only for that to be beaten in Miami by Rich Ryan and Pelayo Menendez.
Okay, breaking news. As of, 2 hours ago, we have had a late withdrawal in the women's field. Meg, perhaps you can tell us about it.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it seems that Tia Toomey and Joanna Wettrick have decided to drop out. They did get the record set by Linda and myself in Houston, so I was really looking forward to seeing how they would do tonight. But things happen, as we all know. I'm sitting here as well, so that's kind of the luck of the draw and what happens in sports. But I still think it's going to be a great showing amongst the ladies, and it opens up a potential spot on that podium. I think they were definitely probably top 1-2 in contention, so it will be interesting to see who might step up and fill that void.
Obviously, avid CrossFit fan over here, heartbroken not to see Tia Claire Toomey-Orr out on the floor, especially 7-time fittest on earth. But she did race this morning, Greg.
Yeah, she did race this morning with James Newbury in the mixed doubles. They finished 5th in their age group, and I think, was it 11th overall? They finished in a time of 56.01, so a very impressive time, very impressive performance. So, it's a shame that we're not going to see her here tonight.
Oh, your boys, Meg, your boys, Rich Ryan and Pelayo Menendez-Fernandez, they are our current male world record holders in the doubles. What makes them so good?
Well, I think what goes to show is these are two of definitely the fastest male runners, pure runners in the Elite 15 men's field. So having them team up in a race that's really fast and definitely more based on running, where you get to share the work of the stations, that can be a nemesis for them sometimes in the Elite 15 solo races. We saw them both have some hard times on those sleds. So having the partnership allows them to run really truly at their level. So I think that that's going to be a big advantage for them, and their probably biggest competition would have been maybe Jake and JK, since they had also had a record this season that they broke. So with them being out, again, I think that opens up another slot for somebody to come in. But the men's side is going to be crazy. Any of those teams could really step up and get one of those top 3 spots.
And what was your influence on that, Gio? Your last minute piece of advice?
I specifically told Rich to not do the relay, to focus on the doubles, because they definitely have a chance of winning it. And 3 nights of late races makes it really, really difficult to sleep, get proper recovery. So Pelayo and Rich decided they were definitely all in on that men's doubles, and Rich let somebody else take that spot. So maybe that will play out in their favor tonight.
Can't wait to find out. So it is not just Rich and Pelayo who are going for it. We have got these 2 ladies as well, Zara Pigiani and Kate Davey, 2 of the smiliest, most wonderful women in the field, powered every step of the way by some serious technology.
So I've been working with Amazfit for 3 months, and it was just after my injury in Glasgow. It's been instrumental in my comeback. I follow a lot of the metrics, so I love looking at my sleep, making sure that I'm recovering enough. I love looking at my heart rate, my resting heart rate, my HRV. Obviously, when I'm working out, I'll look more. So if I'm doing thresholds, making sure that my heart rate sits within a certain zone and that I don't go out of those zones. But after I got injured, my resting heart rate went up about 8 beats, and that was for about 2 months, actually. It's now back down. My HRV is nice and high again, and I also find that when I travel, these metrics can also change as well. So it's knowing like the days, how many days before you travel to get these metrics back in shape before I start competing. So the biocharge is basically how recovered you are and your energy, I guess, throughout the day. So I love the data that you get from it, because it's not just a single score at the beginning of the day. Obviously a high score is really, really good, and then it might deplete if you've worked out, and it might increase if you've done some, recovery work, you've had a lie down, you've had a rest, or you've gone and had sort of infrared treatment or something like that. I really look at my data metrics, especially after my first race. It will be how I recover and restore, so I can use all the metrics from here, making sure that I'm ready to go in my second race in the doubles. So making sure that I've got my resting heart rate back down, my HRV is high, my biocharge is high, and then I'll be ready to roll in the doubles with Zara.
Meg, as an Amazfit athlete yourself, how do you use data, especially on long weekends like this?
Well, the data doesn't look so good, if I'm being honest with you. The sweep quality has been very poor, but I am wearing my customed Amazfit T-Rex. It has my initials on it, so a little bit of a special one. So yes, I'm avoiding my data currently because it's not giving me good insights. But yes, truly, if you want to level up, you need data, you have to work off data, and it's been a massively important tool for me in my training as well.
Amazing. Data at the heart of the sport of Hyrox, whether it's numbers or heart rate. People who will be looking at data are our Thursday night Elite 15 champions, Linda Meyer and Tim Vienisch. This was such a special night for them both, and we'll see them back out on the floor tonight, Greg.
Yeah, it was a super special night for them. So pleased to see them get those wins that they thoroughly deserved, and they've been battling for many years now. They've been around the sport for a long time. Linda's not quite been able to get that World Championship title so far. Like, she's been competing, I think she was in 2022 Elites, and has been an ever-present ever since then, but not been able to quite get that performance she needs on the big night. But yeah, she got it there, and you can see how much that meant to Tim, having to miss out on the last 2 World Championships due to injury.
You can see how much it means to Tim and his people, and Linda as well. A truly special moment because both so unexpected to a certain extent. There is going to be some unexpected changes tonight as well. I have no doubt about it. It's the doubles. We don't know what's going to happen. And there are a couple of dark horses in there, Greg. I always use that term, the dark horse. But truly that can cause an upset.
Yeah. The first names that spring to mind in that sense are the winners from the Paris race on the men's side in Roberto Viciado and Luis Garcia. So Luis Garcia won the 16 to 24 age group World Championships this weekend. Roberto actually won that last year. They teamed up in Paris and surprised everyone, really. I think with taking the win. They were in a later wave to a lot of the guys that were in a stacked field, set a super fast time, and I'm really excited to see what they can do tonight on this big stage against this level of competition.
From 2 Spaniards to one other who has found a home in Chicago, Elena Rucho-Chas and Morgan Schultz. Meg, what can you tell us about them?
Morgan Schultz won her age group today, so it seems like she's primed and ready to go. Elena as well. Both have so much spirit and so much heart, and I definitely believe that they will show it out there tonight.
They're both based in Chicago as well, so that's another interesting dynamic in that they're racing in their hometown, being able to sleep in their own beds and things like that. So that's probably an advantage for them.
Definitely,
definitely. What's awesome though is the breadth of participation that we see. We've got Lucy Proctor at only 21. We've got Kate Davey, who's in her 40s. I'm not sure if you want that broadcast too much. But once again, much like the Elite 15, this sport is an open participation platform for nearly everyone.
Yes, and this year we really are seeing the younger girls come in a lot more, especially in that Elite 15 women's pro race the other night. So it's open, and it's not just about experience, it's also about some of these younger girls have really learned how to train for this properly, where some of us more experienced ladies, we had to learn the hard way a little bit on how to really get good at this. So they're coming in with that advantage that we know how to train, and we kind of had to learn. So I think the field could be completely open going forward,
which is super exciting. Unfortunately tonight we are missing some key individuals. Jake Dearden has had to withdraw due to a back injury sustained on Thursday evening. But before that, we did get an opportunity to catch up with him about how he might attack this race. And I think it's still relevant, still interesting. Let's hear from him now.
I'm Jake Dearden, and we're here in Chicago for the World Championships.
How do you go about training for a doubles, especially when your partner, James Kelly, is all the way over in the US training?
We do talk about kit a lot, and we make sure whichever gyms that we're at, we're using the correct equipment. Like, you need to be using the same equipment that you're going to be using on race day in your training.
When you're approaching the doubles, how do you rotate the workload between you and JK on the sleds?
So I try and get as much surface area as possible onto the bars, and this just reduces pain. Shoulders through, and then we're pushing like this. I'll be talking to James, I'm going to do half, and then I'll get halfway, and then I'll come out. I'll say which way I'm going as well.
I was going to say, have you got a left and right?
Yeah, normally we go out that way, to be fair. And it's same with everything, so the row, the ski erg, the sled pull, like we'll always do that, and then that just makes it so simple.
On to the glorious sandbag lunges.
Ooh.
So this is always a talking point. How are you, I don't know, making the call? Are you making the call? Is he making the call?
He'll make the call when he's tired and when he wants to change. So I'll
Jake,
grab
save
them,
me!
and then I'll put it on and I'll go straight into. I wouldn't have a cap like that, but I'd go straight into it. He'd never pass it over his head. If he's facing that way,
Yeah,
he wouldn't
goes
turn
backwards.
around. We just drag it straight over.
Elite athletes and all that. Okay, so then you come to the final station, the wall balls.
I think with doubles, I think it's so important to go fast on that last lap, because you could take 20 seconds off that last kilometre, but you're not going to do that with the wall balls if you're going at the same time. Yeah.
How do these wall balls kind of help keep everything on track?
The best thing is that the weight is like evenly distributed throughout the wall. Just making sure that you keep the hands under the wall ball as well, so you're not grabbing it like that. You're keeping your hands up and you're keeping nice and upright.
Well, dude, good luck to you and JK. Go out there, crush it, and I guess enjoy the debut of the first ever Elite Pro Doubles race in Hyrox history.
It's going to be incredible. Can't wait for it.
Such a shame we're not going to see them lining up on the start line, but delighted to say they're going to be joining us in commentary. So a win for us, Greg, but sad for the fans of the sport. Similarly, with Joanna and Tia-Clair Toomey not taking to the course tonight, that opens up the podium considerably if we're looking at who would be typically known as a favourite. And I think at the top of the list, we have Lauren Griffith and we have got Lauren Weeks. Greg, how dangerous are they going to be?
Super dangerous. They gave Joanna and Tia a great race in Houston, finishing shortly behind them, and I think that Lauren Griffith wasn't like completely well that day, so they couldn't give them the race that they probably could have on a better day. But they're super fast athletes. We saw them both in the Elite 15 race on Thursday night, and yeah, I think they're probably favourites for this evening in reality.
Meg, you know Lauren Weeks intimately well. You guys have just had this battle going on for years. What makes her so good?
Lauren has such an ability to suffer, and I think that's a superpower. It's a skill, and it also comes from the mental side. I think Lauren's an incredibly tough competitor. We saw her the other night really have to claw her way back and fight to the end. She did the same thing last year in Nice. She's definitely not someone to underestimate. With her willpower, she will get to that finish line and she will give you a run for your money no matter what. But yes, she can put herself in the pain cave quite early and for quite long.
So up against them, Linda Meyer, Viola Oberlander, and Greg, in the Elite Team Relay, we saw a couple of mistakes. Do you think those are going to be ironed out coming into this race?
Remains to be seen. I would think so. I think Viola knows her way around the farmer's carry now. I'm sure she's made sure of that after a couple of mistakes last night in the relay. But yeah, those two, they set a super fast time in Paris. They performed really strongly on that day. Linda is obviously in cracking form after winning on Thursday night, and then Viola, having not qualified for that Thursday night race, has been able to purely really focus on getting her fitness right for this Elite 15 doubles ever since, like, she's known she's not been part of it.
It's really interesting when you're coming into a race like this now with the title of world champion, and I think you've probably experienced this, Meg. When you now carry that mantle, does it change anything?
I think Linda's probably going to also perform extremely well here. I mean, just having that on your shoulders, no matter how tired or exhausted you've been. She also raced in the relay last night. That level of adrenaline that you have from wearing that crown, it will carry you all the way to the end. So I have no doubt that those two will have a phenomenal race, and I think they get forgotten about a lot. So I really think that we will see them also in contention for the win tonight.
They know each other super well as well, so tactics, training each other, race with each other several times over the years, so
yes,
they've got that experience.
And Lucy Proctor, Sinead Benn. I feel like if there is a team to get excited about, it's this youth coming through. Like, look how much fun they're already having together. Meg, you work so closely with Lucy. How were they feeling heading into this?
Both of them had phenomenal performances coming into their debut solo world championship. 4th and 5th, Sinead, Lucy. I think they both definitely exceeded their expectations for themselves in that race. So again, another team that definitely has a lot of momentum coming into this elite doubles race. They're both feeling super good. They're super happy. So I really don't see why they wouldn't just absolutely go for it.
Let's take a little look at how they stack up together. They are two doubles partnerships that truly could attack for the podium. But that graphic isn't coming up right now. Let's take a little look at their time in London. Lucy and Sinead, a 55-52. Greg, we were there and watching. It was so unbelievably fast. Did we expect that? Where did that performance even come from?
Super fast in a stacked field. Now, they are both very good runners, you know, and this doubles format does lean more heavily towards a good runner, as we've touched on. This head-to-head here compares like Lucy and Sinead's times against Linda's and Viola's, and you can see where their strengths and maybe weaknesses, for want of a better word, lie. So Linda, and Viola really particularly strong in the sled pull in the individuals, and you can see the advantage that they have on that station. But I think in the you know, some of the other stages, like the farmers carries, we've seen Sinead in the Elite 15 race in the farmers carry move super quickly through those. So yeah, different strengths and weaknesses between those two teams.
I'd love to also touch on Jess Petro and Maria Fetchik. We mentioned them, they're coming from two different countries, but they found a real friendship together. I feel like that kind of friendship, when you're deep in the pain cave, Meg, that must, you know, really pay off, just to want to perform for one another.
Absolutely, and I think, again, just any partner, you never want to let them down, so you're willing to push harder than you probably would if you were by yourself. So definitely what we'll see from them tonight, I think they will both really work off and lean on each other. Jess Petro also had a phenomenal showing in World Championships the other night in the solo race. So I think, again, she surpassed her own expectations and is probably feeling really good. Australia ended up taking the win in the relay. So Jess also has a lot of momentum going into this race.
We've got a whole heap to look forward to, gang, and I'm going to allow you guys to head up to commentary to call through what's going to be another huge night of racing, and we're only just beginning. As Navy Pier begins the Icelandic clap. Tension raises, heart rates go up, the crowd gets louder. It is time for the debut of the Elite Doubles. All right, team, hold on to your hats. It's go time.
When these ladies come onto the stage, you make some more noise. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Here we go. Put your hands together for Megan McNabb and Ali Summers. Sammy Sheehan and Katie Brock. Next up is Emily Amris and Libby Carr. Nicola Georgia Macbeth and Gabrielle Nicora Baker. Katie Simonson and Chris Ruglotsky. Elena Rukojas and Morgan Schutz. We got Jana Levinson and Jane Skillen. Bridget Brown and Tara Jackson. Next to the stage is Maria Fetchik and Jess Petro. Margot and Charlotte van der Linden Loo. Next up we have Rebecca Frank and Sika Arne. Yo, give it up for Kate Davey and Zara Pirajani. Introducing Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent. We have Viola Oberlanta and the one and only Linda Meyer. And finally, Lauren Weeks and Lauren Griffith.
Give me 10 seconds.
But I'm...
All right, welcome once again to everybody joining us just now. To everybody who missed the pre-show, we are almost ready to race. Here we go, beautiful people. Welcome to our third live stream of this World Championship here in Chicago. The countdown is on for our doubles. It is the first time in Hyrox history we're going to see those doubles at the World Championship. And if you did miss the pre-show, a warm welcome. Joining us now in the studio with me, we've got, well, the World Champion 2024, Megan Jacoby. Great to have you here.
Thank you. No longer current.
I'm not longer current. That's why I was struggling there for a second. It's not current anymore, but you know, 2026 might just be the time to change that again.
I wouldn't hate it.
And of course, as always, Greg with me for all the insights and the data and the information. Greg, the third one for this weekend, and I dare to say it's going to be the most spectacular one.
Yeah, it's super spectacular. I think it's going to be super fast. We obviously saw a super fast race last night, but this race and the one on the men's side is so hard to call. Like 15 super fast partnerships teaming up and very, very little to split between them.
So far we had it all. We had the drama, we had new friendships built, new rivalries built, you know, friendships being broken up. Heavy on that part, for sure. It's been an exciting World Championship, and you can see our man on the ground, Faisal, counting down our women. They're going to kick off this night of racing. We're going to see the men's doubles later on for sure as well, but it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be wild. And we're heading into the final 3 seconds before the race. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race start for our Hyrox Women's Doubles World Championship. Megan, be honest. How much do you like standing here right now instead of being down there on the track?
Well, thankfully I'm with 2 really great men here in the commentating booth, so that eases the pain a little bit. But yeah, it's been a tough weekend. Women's Pro Elite was particularly tricky, but honestly, I was crying watching Linda finish the wall balls and take the win. Honestly, so happy for her. One of the coolest things, though, Till, about this race is how many new faces in this women's race we are seeing. The men's race has a lot more of like the elite athletes or mixed doubles guys that have won last year. But this women's race really has so many new faces that I think is really exciting to see them lining up with a lot of these other elite women. The current world champion, 2-time world champion Lauren Weeks. That's not an easy task.
It's not an easy task, but honestly, I hope that some of the names we haven't seen before, that they're going to shine. I mean, you know, we had some late additions here. Unfortunately, Tia Klumi. Tia Claire Toomey. There you go. I'm getting all excited here. And Joanna Vittrick having to pull out. And then we're bringing in Megan McNabb and Allie Summers. And I'll just be frank about it. It's like everybody was like, who? And I really hope that they got their moment to shine today.
Absolutely. And again, that last second call-up can go in one of two ways. It can be super nerve-wracking, or you haven't even had enough time for the nerves to hit you. So this could go one of two ways for them. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
And what we're seeing right now is what I said before the race. There's one woman in this race who's gonna go through hell today, and that is Viola Oberländer. Linda Meyer wants this win. The instant reaction when she heard that Tia and Joanna were out was like, now I really want to win this. And that meant just pure pain train for Viola Oberländer on the day.
I was just looking to try and see Viola on the screen there, because you can see Linda, but there's Viola like a few yards behind her. So yeah, Linda's gone out super hot here, and it could be a long evening for Viola trying to keep up.
And you see the excitement. The lady we've just seen in the picture with the curly hair, that is Linda Meyer's mum, a former age-group world champion herself. She did not have the best of races here, but she also had an entirely sleepless night after Linda Meyer won that Elite 15
How could you not? I was up till 5 in the morning the night after I won last year, so I can completely relate to that. The adrenaline, the feelings, the emotions, it's pretty crazy. Her mom, though, Linda's mom is so supportive of every single woman that Linda competes with. I don't know if anyone has cheered for me louder than her, to be honest.
I probably throughout the past 4 years have gotten less hugs from my own wife than I've gotten from Linda Meyer's mom. Yeah, a very friendly woman. And another couple, you mentioned it in the pre-show already, you know, we gotta take a look here at Jeanette Bent and Lucy Proctor. They both had fantastic races in the Elite 15, coming in 4th and 5th. And I want to say quite spectacular from Jeanette Bent as well. You know, everybody was talking about Lucy Proctor throughout the season, and then suddenly in the last chance qualifier, there is Jeanette Bent. If you've like covered the UK races, you had her on the radar, but outside the UK, you just didn't until Barcelona.
So I ran a race against her at the Hybrid Games in the UK, and when I saw how fast she was moving, I knew she could be a big threat in the elite field. She wasn't even sure at that point if she was going to do Barcelona. I definitely was like, you absolutely should. And she was my dark horse pick for the podium, so she came in 4th. I think I was pretty spot on. She definitely has a lot of potential. She's an extremely fast runner with arguably some of the fastest times pure running out of all of the elite women. So she definitely has a bright future ahead of her.
And look at the time they're coming into the rock zone there. So that is 4 minutes and 5 seconds when they entered the rock zone. The men yesterday in the relay opened up at a mere 15 seconds faster in the relay. This is how fast these women are going out right now.
Yeah, just for reference as well, on Thursday evening, Lauren Weeks done that first run in 4:19, so they've gone out 14 seconds quicker than Lauren did on Thursday.
And this is the difference between solo racing and doubles, people.
Something that really worries me every single time now is that brief moment of Viola looking round like she didn't know what was going on. We've seen that in the relay yesterday. I hope she's familiarized herself with what's going on today.
She's got the world champion taking her around, guiding her around this evening.
And it's an interesting one that you mentioned, and I think it is something that's been really important for Viola throughout the season. Racing with Linda Meyer gives her confidence. Linda Meyer kind of like calms her down. And when she's racing with Linda, she seems to be more on point than when not.
Absolutely. Viola's had a really tough season racing individually this year. She was sick for a really long time on and off, and obviously didn't make it to the Elite 15 Women's Pro race. So this was her chance, and I think she's had a really good prep the last few weeks and the last 2 months. So hopefully we'll see that from her tonight, because Viola, when she's on point, she is quite dangerous. I mean, finishing 5th last year after a crazy wall ball scenario at the World Championships, she's definitely held her own in these elite races. So hopefully she's ready to go. I know she had some tough travel getting over here, had a flight cancellation, and I think it had to move to the next day. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for her, because as we all know, jet lag can be a thing. This isn't the easiest trip for the Europeans, not the hardest maybe, so we'll see how that ends up playing out tonight.
Linda and Viola as well in Paris. They won that Paris race in a time of 55:39, so super quick time. And I think, like I touched on in the pre-show, Viola's been able to focus on this race ever since then. And it would change your training slightly, I would think, if you're training for doubles versus singles. You probably would do a little bit more VO2 max for training, for example.
But I mean, going down to 143 now, as she's going absolutely ballistic at that ski erg. And one thing you'll like out on the screens that you can look at when the camera is on them, where the other women can take a look and find out how Linda Meyer won that title in the Elite 15. You'll see it in Viola and Linda, is how they worked on their run. Their run has changed so much throughout the season. It's gotten so much more efficient, meaning they get into the workout so much more relaxed than before. And quite visibly, the change. You'll see it when they're headed back out onto the run. And now this duo here, the Van den Linden-Loos sisters, that is, I don't know how people are still not having them on the radar. It's an incredible duo, and it just proves the point how different doubles racing is. They're not the greatest individual athletes, but what they can do together in the doubles has been impressive throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely. They are definitely focused on doubles. So again, that definitely changes the way you're going to train. So they're likely doing a lot more intensity. They do a lot of transitions. That was one thing that was mentioned in their pre-race interview, which Greg and I were both a little bit surprised by. So we'll see how that strategy compares to some of these other elite women and how that pans out for them. Again, if the more changes you make, the better and faster you have to be on those transitions because it's adding more of them. So that could work well because it saves them energy, but it might work against them if they're fumbling with it a little bit.
They are slightly different athletes as well, so, and they'll obviously understand each other inside out. But I think Margot's got a little bit more of a CrossFit background, whereas Charlotte's a little bit more of a pure runner. So understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses probably plays into that changeover strategy.
And that's exactly what the top teams all have in common. They understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, like Viola Overlander and Linda Meyer first out of this ski erg with the double Lauren Weeks, Lauren Griffith. We've got Lucy Proctor, Jeanette Bent right there with them as well. The race is definitely on. I mean, this was a brutally fast opening kilometer and then ski erg. And I dare say, you can tell me if you disagree, Megan, but we're seeing tonight's winner within the 5 teams we've seen come out of the ski erg first.
Yeah, and so it looks like Linda's really riding that high. She is ready to be in the lead and commanding from the front.
And Viola Overlander going with her right now, but we've seen it before in that first kilometer with Linda always looking back at her. But the thing is, Viola is one of those athletes, when she starts feeling confident, she finds another gear.
Definitely. And it looks like they're starting to pull away and create a little bit of separation.
And here we got Linda's mom again, rocking out to the tunes of our DJ here tonight. I mean, like, could you be a happier spectator than her?
No, I don't think one exists. She's such a fan of the sport, too. It's so awesome.
This is the dangerous smile on Linda Meyer's face we've seen in the Elite 15 race. She has 2 smiles. She has the I recognize somebody, and she has the I recognize somebody and I feel really strong smile. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
We still have Sinead, Ben, and Lucy following very closely behind the Laurens. This is definitely the position they want to be in coming into the sled push. A particularly good station for Sinead, it seems. She was moving against me and Camilla in London on that sled push pretty well. She actually did the whole last lane by herself. So could be a spot where they try to make up some ground here.
And you wouldn't necessarily think of the ski erg as their strong point either.
Definitely not. They're both petite athletes. Linda and Viola have more height on them, definitely more of an advantage for them. And again, Sinead is so new to the sport. She hasn't had a ton of practice on all of the stations. She obviously is doing a little bit of the butterfly thing still, which she might want to work on, not giving her any coaching advice, but that might help her going forward into next season. She really kind of came on the scene almost out of nowhere, it felt like.
Yeah. Really, this season came onto the scene, broke the Open world record.
And we got a little prediction there for our sled push. We'll be back with that in a second again on who the strongest teams are. But now you're seeing Viola Oberländer just dropping off the pace a little bit behind Linda Meyer. That has given the other two teams a real opportunity now to come back, and that is the rule. So Linda Meyer cannot start the sled before Viola Oberländer is in position.
Correct, which maybe she's doing that purposely. It gives her a second to take a deep breath, kind of collect herself before she starts the push. Could be a good thing.
I think what we're going to see a little bit is exactly what we've seen on-site when Linda Meyer was racing with our on-site announcer Faisal in Berlin. She would push the run, go ahead, breathe, start the workout, then Faisal would do the middle part, and then Linda would finish the workout and again push on the run. And it might be something similar that we're going to see between the two of them here.
So with Viola dropping back a little, that gap has definitely shortened. So now we've got the top three teams coming into the push essentially together. So this could be a spot where somebody takes over. Well, that might not have been the best strategy from Linda, giving Viola the first push.
That's an interesting one.
She was struggling a little bit on the run.
Well, then again, you know, Viola often has a very strong first lane on her, but look at Sinead again. Look at how she is moving that sled, and how many times have we seen the sled push and the sled pull make or break a team.
So many times. And Lauren Weeks did that first whole lane unbroken. So, and now Lauren Griffith is doing the second lane unbroken, but she has now surpassed Sinead. So again, it's so interesting to watch these athletes and the strategy that they end up doing and how it ends up playing out. And it's just going to continue to be a back and forth.
What remains to be seen as well is doing a length unbroken. Like, what does that cost you on the next run?
Absolutely,
you know, like
that is
Linda
definitely
and
the
Viola
question.
might be splitting it up, and they might benefit from that in the upcoming run.
That is something I really enjoyed about Linda's race on Thursday evening, is especially in the burpees when Joanna went really hard and started like pulling away from her. She kept her pace, she kept her cool, and by the end of the burpees, she was past Joanna again.
And now we have a new team taking the lead, and they are definitely creating a gap. Lauren and Lauren are out.
And I mean, that is a proper gap to open in on Linda Meyer and Viola Oberländer now.
More than half a lane.
And they're actually even going to drop back into sixth. So we got the Van der Lindenlof sisters gone past Team Germany as well. So a little bit of movement here in the fields. We got two leading teams now. And Linda Meyer, Viola Oberländer, not the strongest push there, but a fantastic second workout from Sinead Band and Lucy Proctor. And I mean, let's be honest, if they were to take it, it's very early, this is pure speculation, if they were to take it, nobody would be surprised today.
After their performances the other night, I don't think anybody would be very surprised. They're both clearly very fit, very peaked. So it doesn't shock me to see them already taking the lead. And we'll see how if they can continue that. It's actually, it seems like they're growing that gap a little bit more and a little bit more each corner.
And Greg, I know you're all into the data and everything. I mean, do you see a weakness for them coming up anywhere?
Not necessarily coming up, really. Like I touched on, like the ski, we probably wouldn't have expected them to do particularly well on the ski bit. Coming up, no, not necessarily. I wouldn't see a weakness. Then maybe on the road, like they're not going to be as strong as say Linda or Viola, perhaps. But then also you have to question like how much can you really gain or lose on the road. So I don't think there's a huge weakness for the two of them.
I can tell you one thing about the both of them. If I was a sports manager, I'd get on that train right now.
I think Sinead is already taken.
Yes, I think straight after Barcelona, from what I heard. I just heard the rumors. It's like she was barely out of the venue when the call came in. Here we go. So 5 seconds for Lauren Griffith and Lauren Weeks coming out.
It seems like that might have
push.
grown on this run.
I think it has a little bit. And then in 6th position, now there's a team, I'm holding my breath a little bit, with Rebecca Frank and Zeka Arning. to see how Zeka Arning is doing. She collapsed at the finish line on Thursday. She struggled very much with the decision last minute to pull out of the relay, realizing she just doesn't have it in her yet. And I really, fingers crossed, hope she's going to have a good race today.
I think that was an extremely wise choice on her end, and great for Team Germany, honestly, because seeing her like that at the end of the race, it's a little bit scary, and you just feel so badly for her that it has to end that way. So I think really wise choice on her end to make sure she's feeling healthy, she's getting nutrition back, getting that hydration back. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but similar experience to what happened to her in Vegas. So this is not the first time we've seen this with her. So probably a great decision on her end, and it seems like they're doing quite well tonight, so she must have bounced back.
It sure looks like it. And these are our leaders here. Sinead Batt, Lucy Proctor in the background. You're seeing Lauren Griffith and Lauren Weeks coming through. And there's one pair in between them right now.
That's Nicola Georgia Macbeth and Gabrielle Nicora Baker. They both won the qualifier in Melbourne. That's the first qualifier of the season, so they were essentially the first to qualify for this race.
They are in between, but a lap behind.
Yes.
So first, Sinead Batt and Lucy Proctor, then Lauren Weeks and Lauren Griffith. And what a run by the two again. Megan, I mean, looking at Lucy Proctor, so composed, so calm. That's been a fantastic run.
Absolutely. She's definitely really stepped up her game this year. She was the age group champion last year, and now she came in 5th place in the Elite 15. So quite a phenomenal year for Lucy Proctor as a young athlete in the sport.
Absolutely. But you know, she's also one of those athletes who is like investing into the success, investing into the sport. She's happy to leave home. She spent weeks on weeks in Austria at the Red Bull Performance Center, training and everything. And that's what you got to do. The sport's become so professional. You athletes have become so strong. If you want to make it, there are sacrifices.
Definitely, and that is part of what I think we are beginning to see is athletes starting to get more opportunities to become professional, which then just gives them a massive advantage regarding their training, not having to worry about working so much, getting more support from sponsors. It's been a massive contribution to my success, so we're definitely seeing that now trickling down into the whole field, which is really amazing to see for the sport in general.
Oh, a little bit of trouble there, communication just a moment ago between Linda Meyer and Viola Oberländer in that transition. That wasn't smooth, cost another couple of seconds. They had a great run here. They managed to run away from Sarah Pajani and Kate Davey and the Van der Lindeloof sisters again. But now it's all coming down to the sled again. And look at the Van der Lindeloof sisters again.
Made a big move right here as well.
So in the lead, it is now literally a shoulder-to-shoulder race between Sinead Batt, Lucy Proctor, and Lauren Griffith, Lauren Weeks. Behind, the Van der Lindeloof sisters from Belgium are making their move on third. And a yellow card, a warning for Lauren Griffith, if I've seen that correctly. Hard to say, the judge is kind of standing in the middle. Was that for Lauren Griffith, or was that for Sinead Batt? One of them, there we go. Lauren Weeks, Lauren Griffith. I guess that was overstepping.
Assuming so.
How does that impact your race?
Oh, massively. If you get one warning, it's kind of in the back of your mind because, again, the penalty for sled pull is really unkind. So you do not want to end up with a penalty on the sled pull. So you're definitely then watching your steps. You're not utilizing the entire box as well. So it can definitely play a big role in how the rest of this station ends up going for you.
And then Kate Davies, Sarah Perjani just now getting the yellow card as well. That is the warning for everybody out there. There's a yellow card. The next one is your penalty. Straight away, there is no second warning. And you see the judges taking a very close look.
I think I maybe just saw a red card as well for Gabrielle Nicora Baker as well, the winners from Melbourne. I think that was maybe a red card, so I think they might have a 5-metre penalty to do once they
Sinead and Lucy are out.
Sinead out with Lucy. And here go Lauren and Lauren. Team Belgium still crawling back a little bit of time here, or distance from the Germans, but two women on a mission right now from Great Britain. We've got Lucy Proctor, Sinead Batt in the lead. The gap after the last workout was 5 seconds. Let's see what the standards are coming out of the sled pull. Here we go, Linda, Maya, and Viola Overlander in third. So Lauren Griffith, Lauren Weeks now 11 seconds behind. That is still not a huge gap.
Not a huge gap, definitely a lot of time to crawl that back. I think this station in particular is one where just 1/4 of a lane can be a lot of seconds of time. Optically, it doesn't look as drastic, but it really takes time on this station.
You asked me a moment ago, Till, if Sinead and Lucy had any weaknesses. I was looking at their race from London, and they finished second on the sled push, second on the sled pull in London, but 13th on the burpee broad jump. So this next station is maybe an important one for them.
All right, we've got to take a close look, but look, Sika Arning definitely racing a lot better, coming through here together with Sarah Pajani, Kate Davey, and of course her teammate as well. So fantastic race in here. And Rebecca Frank, she's a bit of an unknown, to be honest. She doesn't really show up much in the individuals, but she races a really strong doubles with Sika Arning.
Yeah. So we've seen Sika in the Elite 15 singles like several times now. She was the fastest age grouper at the World Championships last year. But no, you're right. We don't see much from Rebecca Frank at all. But they showed up in Paris. They finished second on that day again in a very, very fast time. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do tonight.
Megan, you've raced the doubles. Have you ever been in the situation that you were the slower runner?
Only if it was in a mixed, which then puts me in the pain cave and usually as the chaser.
How does that feel?
It's terrible.
Is it just physically terrible, or is it actually frustrating as well?
Not frustrating at all. It's more just really, you have to communicate with these guys. Like, hey, don't forget I'm here. Let's please not go out in a 3:10. Let's relax. I got 45 plus more minutes after this run to get through. So it does take a lot of communication, but I definitely prefer leading the runs. Let's put it that way.
Just shown on the screen there was the red card for Gabrielle Nicora Baker. That's a 15-second penalty they were given on the sled pull.
Lucy and Sinead running shoulder to shoulder. They look very in control.
Oh, very much so. Running so smooth if you look at it. They look so composed.
They do. They really do. But again, as Greg said, it will be interesting to see how the burpee broad jumps go, because this is a particularly good station for Lauren Weeks. Yes. We saw her the other night crawl back so much time on the burpee broad jumps. So this could be a game changer station for them right here.
And I think that's where we're going to see some team tactics as well, but fairly jokingly, but maybe also not. I was talking to Kate Davey at Sarah Pajani, and Kate was saying, I'm happy to take the burpees, but after Sarah Pajani yesterday, the wall ball's unbroken in 3 minutes 10, she was like, I got no ego. You go do them. I'll cheer you on. No trouble.
Again, and that's when it comes to the switches. Sinead and Lucy also lost a lot of time on the wall balls because they had a lot of switching back and forth. So if you got a partner that can go unbroken in 3:10, you let them send it.
Interesting to see now as they're coming in. Lauren Weeks and Lauren Griffith definitely managed to close that gap quite importantly. I mean, it was 11 seconds, so that was a huge move from the two of them coming into the burpees, and then that's sending a message, Megan. Like with you said, Lauren Weeks, super strong burpees, and running up to them beforehand. Fair to say, we expect to see a change in lead coming up.
I think we definitely might. Again, I said it in the pre-race interview, Lauren Weeks can put herself in a very uncomfortable position and maintain it for a very long time. So definitely not somebody to doubt, and like we said, this is one of her favorite and best stations. So I think she'll probably end up taking the bulk of the work here from an advantage standpoint. And it looks like they're even crawling back more and more time here.
Interestingly enough, we know Kate Davey loves the burpees. We know Lauren Weeks can really hurt herself. But the fastest qualifying time, the burpees, was the Van der Lindenloof sisters. So we'll see if they can make a move here as well.
The one thing I'll say about that, though, is they have not raced running against these women. These elite women, especially these 4 in the front, are phenomenal runners. So again, it's very different racing against them, getting pulled out on that first run, second run with them, and how that plays a role into what is going on.
And we're seeing a yellow card for Viola Oberländer and Linda Meyer. Yellow card there. They also got my favorite judge. She's the one who's like, she's like real trigger happy. She's like, once the yellow card is out, she's like, the right hand is always on the red card. She's ready to pull it when needed. But that is early in. That's into the second lane of burpees that Viola Oberländer gets a yellow card here. So they got to be careful now that there's a proper clean execution. From the way she looked, I would say the chest did not go down low enough would be my best guess.
Yeah, and that's the temptation in this race, and we talked about it last night in the relay as well, especially on this station, just your hand placement, like every second counts, and where you place your hands counts, getting your chest down, it does count, and the temptation is there to just push those standards a little bit, and yeah, as soon as you get a yellow card.
And by the way,
we're going on with Lauren and Lauren's judge.
Absolutely proven wrong here. Incredible burpees from Sinead Bent and Lucy Proctor. They're out already. They extended their lead on Lauren and Lauren enormously, but you were just looking at Lauren and Lauren.
Yeah, it looked like they had a couple of judges around them, which definitely can impact how you're performing when you have 3 hawks on you like that. I know that from personal experience. So I'm wondering if there was some type of issue and it needed to be discussed. Looks like it might have impacted them slightly. But yeah, Sinead and Lucy really pulled away here.
One thing I could definitely tell you, the 2025 Hyrox World Championship would not be, you would not have a race without some drama.
Of course not.
It's delivered in every single race, and
Yes,
I have no doubt we're starting with a little bit of drama in the women, but I tell you, there will be drama in the men's race later on. They've been the bigger drama queens this weekend.
I was kind of wishing I would get to commentate on that one with you guys, if I'm being honest with you. Lots of juicy things happening on the men's field tonight.
That's going to be a fantastic one for sure. No doubt. But look at this race here. Lucy Proctor, Sinead Bent. I mean, it was 4 seconds going into the burpees, and they made a huge move. We're going to get the splits very soon on what the gaps are right now, as we're seeing Sarah Bajani and Kate Davey now going out as well.
It was a 2:21 burpee broad jump from Lucy and Sinead.
So 2:21. The Van der Lindeloof sisters in their qualifier, 2:07.
Wow.
But again, as you said, it's a different level of racing. They got in the legs now. They're headed out now as well. Here they are in the picture.
It was 2:55 for the 2 Laurens. So quite a big difference on one station. 2:21 versus 2:55.
I mean, huge move from our leading duo, who we're seeing in the picture here with Lucy Proctor, Sinead Bent. The gap will now be up somewhere in the 35-second range, I reckon, somewhere there, 35, 40 seconds. Considering 38, there you go, on the left-hand side. Considering this was the one weakness that Greg was able to dig up after very carefully checking all the times. It's fair to say the other women are in trouble right now.
Most definitely, and we're already seeing a minute gap to 3rd, so we're not even quite past halfway yet. That's a considerable gap in a doubles race like this pretty early.
And while we see them, we're going to take another look at that yellow card from Viola Oberländer. I think we got a replay here to see what happened. Here we go. Megan, what are you seeing?
It looks like her feet came, uneven and just slightly past where her fingers were. So it looks like that was good. That was the yellow card.
Would you say tough but fair call?
Tough but fair. In these races, you have to be absolutely perfect, and that's why you need to practice perfectly as well. It can be very, very difficult, especially in a doubles race when you're neck and neck with other people and you're trying to hustle for your partner. But that's the name of the game.
Oh, and just take us through what's happening here right now. How does that feel for Kate Davey, who is such a strong athlete, to already get left by Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent now?
Probably not very good.
You think?
And it looks like Lucy's actually pulling away from Sinead. Sinead was in the relay last night, so this is her 3rd race. So Lucy's probably feeling a little bit better and might end up carrying the team a little bit more in the second half. Looks like she's feeling pretty strong. In London, Sinead was definitely the leader on the run, so this is a little bit different than what they did in their qualifier race.
Lucy's looking very relaxed.
Yes, very, very calm.
Quick drink for Sinead, and in they go for the next workout. Lucy looking around, making sure Sinead is there. There's no real reason, though, to slow down there, right? You might just as well run through to the row and chill and grill a little bit there.
Like I said, Sinead might be feeling the residual effects of those 2 nights of racing, but she does start and finish the row for them. So it looks like Lucy was kind of waiting up and saying, hey, you're up. Let's go.
That's what I love about teammates in racing. I know that feeling so well. When you point out that you're suffering real hard, the response mostly is like, great, acknowledged, but I'm not going to change a thing. All right, Lauren Griffith, Lauren Weeks, they are the ones hunted right now. And dare I say, with you out of the race, everybody has seen Lauren Weeks as the #1 favorite for this World Championship. It did not work out in the singles in the Elite 15. If it doesn't work out today to take the world title, is it surprising?
A little bit, yes, and I'm really feeling for her because of what happened with the U.S. relay. So then that's another, a win that then got rescinded. So it's a tough day, tough few days, but Lauren Weeks is one of the most humble people, and she just takes her lumps, accepts them, and gives tons of credit where it's due. So I would not be surprised to see the same thing out of her tonight, but I can definitely tell by the way she's pulling on that row that she is not letting it go easily. That is for sure.
She never does.
No.
She should not.
That's a true competitor right there.
And I mean, look at the men's race. I think one of the really surprising or interesting, fun to watch performances was James Kelly, who lost the race in the sled pull, who dropped so far back, but he never gave up, and he fought himself back into a 4th position, really close to the podium with a spectacular race, and that's why you never give up, and Lauren Weeks definitely will not. And here we see the splits now on the left-hand side, how far they are, but we've got a second during the row. So in a way, with the disqualification yesterday and everything, it's a bit of a setback for Lauren Weeks. And if somebody understands and knows setbacks, it's you. With everything that you're going through, you had that injury, you had the surgery. First, you didn't dare dreaming of a good race at the World Championship. Then you had this spectacularly fast comeback. I believe there was hope that you might actually be ready on point, but then the body was like, you're going real strong. Can we slow down just a little bit, please?
Yes. And this is a part of sports and something that needs to honestly be understood and accepted by everybody. You're going to have your great years, you're going to have your tough years, and that's just part of the game. And I think Lauren is kind of experiencing that a little bit with this World Championship. She was definitely the favorite to win this year, having just dominant performances, 3 major wins. So I'm definitely feeling for her because I've been there and I am currently there. But I will say setbacks definitely bring the strongest comebacks. And if there's anything this will do, it will set a fire in her and me. And I hope we find an amazing battle again next season between the 2 of us.
That was incredible. I had 2 follow-up questions. You answered them both already. That's how we do it. You're welcome back on that live stream anytime. Here we go with the Van der Lindeloof sisters. Currently in 6th. They're making their move now on the 5th team, trying to move up a little bit through the ranks. But in all fairness, I mean, the dark horses, Greg, and I think even if they come in 4th or 5th, it's not a disappointment for them.
No, not at all. This is like their first elite race, if you like. Obviously, this is the first elite doubles that we've seen, but we've not seen those 2 in the elite singles. And I think 4th or 5th position for them, I think they'll be very happy with that. I mean, they certainly focus on the doubles. They think about the tactics a lot. They raced in Paris and they raced in London, so they've been focused on this for a long, long time. But I think 4th or 5th for them is a good result.
And our leaders are back out. So after workout number 5, Lucy Proctor, Sinead Bent still in the lead. They've got a lead of about 130 meters on the row on Lauren Griffith and Lauren Weeks. And then Team Germany with Viola Oberländer and Linda Meyer another 110 meters behind. They themselves are staying fairly clear right now of Sarah Pijani and Kate Davey, as well as Jess Petro and Maria Feshik. But if you look at that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, there could still be a lot of movement.
Most definitely, and these next couple runs are definitely going to make a big impact. It's who's going to utilize those runs really well, try to gain some time there. The stations are so even across the board. Everybody's times are so similar in the stations that you really have to utilize the running a lot if you want to gain ground on any other team.
So now 3rd team, Linda Meyer, Viola Oberländer are out of the workout as well, headed onto the run. Kate Davey, Sarah Pergiani still about 70 meters left hand side. You see how far they are into that row.
You're only as fast as your slowest runner as well. So thinking about the runs in this latter stages of the race, like the tactics and how much work you give each member on the stations, so that you're not slowing their running down too much. That's an important consideration here. Like talking to each other and saying how you feel is it.
And you can go in with a plan, and if one person feels a little bit off, then you might have to change the whole thing. So again, the communication pieces can be extremely important.
And you gotta love the dynamics of doubles racing. You know, it's so different again to relay or singles. And if I interpreted that right, just between Sarah Pijani and Kate Davey, I think Kate Davey's struggling a little bit right now. And there was that turnaround from Sarah Pijani, like a clap in the hands, a little bit of like a let's go motivation. So, and that is part, how important is communication in the doubles?
Oh, it's massive. And again, I think you can plan a great race strategy really well, and then it could go to complete haywire when the gun goes off. So you really need to know each other and also know each other's strengths and weaknesses and listen to each other. That was definitely a big piece from Camilla and I. It took a lot more of the station work. We might see some teams doing that again tonight, just based on how people are running. How many races they've done, how much fatigue they've built. That can play a really big role. And tonight, a lot of these women have raced. Some of them, this is their 3rd race already.
3rd race for Sinead Bent as well. Not for Lucy Proctor, but they're back up to running shoulder to shoulder. So it looks like Sinead has recovered quite well from that momentarily drop in pace that she had just for a brief moment there. But still Lauren Griffith, Lauren Weeks and Viola Oberländer as well as Linda Meyer. Like the 2 duos, they've gotten a little closer. It was 1:01 for the Germans after the burpees. It's now down to 46 seconds. You've got your friends, your team on the course, and they give you split times. What's happening with you if you're in 3rd and you're realizing, hold on, we just made up almost 20 seconds?
Oh, I think the fire gets lit even more. It's way more fun sometimes being the chaser than the one being chased, because that's a scary spot to be in, and it's a lot more exciting to be the one hunting somebody than being hunted. So if I were Lucy and Sinead, I would want to be getting the biggest gap possible, again, going into the wall balls, because we've got Lauren Weeks coming close behind. We know Linda can do the 100 unbroken quite fast. So that is definitely a strong station for both of those chase teams.
And here we go into the Farmers Carry, and boy, have we seen drama in the last 2 races at this Farmers Carry here. We've seen athletes run into the wrong direction. We've seen Viola Oberländer tip over the kettlebells and being called back and everything. And we're going to see one of the most interesting things in just a moment when Lucy Proctor is handing the kettlebells to Sinead Bent, who then is going into a full-blown sprint. And I think this duo right now, that is perfect for the Farmers Carry. Sinead Bent, the way she runs with the kettlebells, she runs faster than anybody else. It doesn't work quite as well in the individuals because she has to drop them a little more often, but it's got to play into their cars, into their strengths now in the Farmers Carry. And a quick tip on the shoulder from our technical, from Matt. What was that about?
I'm not exactly sure, but we are seeing Sinead do the Sinead thing right now, which is sprinting with the kettlebell. This
I don't know if you hear the atmo. If you hear the arena right now, everybody's going absolutely mad right now.
It is quite impressive, and again, in a doubles, this is perfect. In a solo, she doesn't really gain much time doing this because she ends up having to drop them so many times. So I'm wondering if she does run with it because the grip strength is an issue for her. But it worked phenomenally well in this doubles tonight.
I mean, this is one of the best things I've seen the entire weekend, I gotta say. This was so cool, and to see the crowds respond to it. What we've just seen the Brits would say, "Are you having a donkey?" I mean, absolutely wild.
Sinead's managed to bring atmosphere and excitement to the farmers carry. It's not an easy thing to do.
And we've got Lauren and Lauren out. Again, there's still a major threat. They're only 19 seconds back. They can definitely crawl their way back, especially if they really can run after those lunges in particular.
The other area that Sinead and Lucy didn't do so well in London was on the sandbag lunges. They finished 13th there that day as well. So again, if there is a weakness, this next station could be it.
But the problem is, they seem to have forgotten what their weakness is. Because they definitely have forgotten it at the burpees. They weren't aware of the fact.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So unless you're going down there reminding them, they might just as well have a fantastic sandbag lunge round here.
That could be that confidence from that Elite 15 solo race coming into play well for them tonight.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, if you look at it, I mean, like, this is the gap coming into the farmer's carry. In a little moment, we're going to see what the gap is going out. It's definitely grown a little bit after what Sinead Bent's just done there. But it's still probably somewhere within 30 seconds. And you're being hunted by Lauren Griffith and Lauren Weeks. And if there's one duel I don't want to have with Lauren Weeks, it's wall balls.
100%.
It's just, she's got that cadence that is just wild.
Yes, and that's definitely where even Lucy has gone unbroken before, but the cadence is significantly slower. So that is definitely a massive advantage for Lauren and Lauren.
Here we go, our Belgium team with Margot and Charlotte van der Lindenhoef. And since we had so much fun with the crowds, or the crowds had so much fun with Sinead Bent, we saw her sprint. Let's see what that sprint looks like in slow motion. Here we go, the hand over, and there we go.
This is not slow motion.
That is not slow motion. That is... What is happening there? I think what impresses me the most is that she managed to take that turn at that speed with those two kettlebells. I think she was having fun there. When she heard the crowds, it popped a smile on her face.
Definitely gives you a good incentive not to put those down, that's for sure.
I see a kettlebell sponsorship coming up for Sinead Bent. Quick communication between the two of them there. Quick words from Sinead to Lucy. And interestingly enough, now it seems to be Lucy who's suffering a little more, and Sinead is like just on fire.
Yeah, she definitely looks very in control, very comfortable on the run.
I come from a completely different world, right? I come from long distance endurance racing, and what we say in long distance racing is after every low there is a high. Do you go through the same stages in a race like this?
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, the farmer's carry is usually a little bit of a reprieve because it's not so cardiovascular, it's not so muscular. So people tend to run very well after this particular station versus the run after the burpees or the run after the row, which you're kind of trying to gain it back, but you're suffering a little bit there.
It starts to feel like the end really is in sight after the farmer's carry as well, and especially in the doubles, the wall balls is less of a, it feels less taxing, doesn't it? If you can split it with a partner, it's a totally different kettle of fish to the singles race.
Well, here we go. Greg, this is your last opportunity of the day to be right about Sinead Bent and Lucy Proctor. You said if you had to dig deep and find one, the land might just be a little bit of a weak station for them, but let's see how they're going today. And I mean, when we're saying weak, we're complaining on a very high level here.
We're saying that very lightly.
Lauren Weeks, Lauren Griffith coming in behind. Let's see what the gap is coming into the sandbag lunges. And no matter where we're standing right now, we talked about Lauren Weeks' ability at the wall balls, but there's only so much damage she can do. They got 20 seconds. Everything is possible, but they got to find some magic in those sandbag lunges now.
Definitely. This was a station that I think we saw Lauren struggle with a little bit more than normal the other evening, but she seems to be moving quite well now. So we'll see what Lauren Griffith can do here to help her out.
You got Linda Meyer, Viola Oberländer still in 3rd place, considering how they're doing at the sandbag lunges and at the wall balls. I don't think they still have a shot at the win. It will be very hard for 2nd, but they seem to be in a very safe 3rd spot right now, because we all know Linda Meyer, again, one of the very strong athletes at the wall balls.
Definitely. It looks like Lucy and Sinead have a little over 2 full lanes already done, so it's pretty safe to say that 3rd doesn't have room to gain.
But it looks like the yellow card is coming out. Yes, here we go, yellow card, oh boy. So good that they're halfway through it already. The only explanation I have is not a full extension. Driver Sinead Bent there.
Okay, so some big news here, though. So Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent have a 10-second penalty from the row, I believe. I believe they took their foot off the pedal on the rower before they'd hit the 1,000 metres. So there's a 10-second penalty. So they came into these lunges 20 seconds ahead. But I think there's a 10-second penalty applied. I think we're going to get a replay of that coming up shortly.
Did somebody just say drama? Did I hear the word drama?
That could end up being a game changer because, again, we've already said Lauren Weeks is an absolute threat on the wall balls to them. So 10 seconds is not something you want to give to the team right behind you.
But the big question now is, do Lauren and Lauren know? Now that is the question. If they're aware of that, that is going to light a fire.
Well, if I know Lauren Weeks' husband, they will know.
They will know. He's got sources.
So Sinead and Lucy are out of the sandbag lunges now.
And they will be absolutely flying through that run now. They will push it as hard as they can, well knowing about the penalty they have. But
they did have a full length on the Laurens, so that's quite considerable from a time standpoint.
They most certainly gained those 10 seconds on top of the 20 they already had here. The gap, I'm sure, will be at least half a minute, if not more. And here we go, Lauren Griffith, Lauren Weeks out. Can they find some magic or not? We've gone through 7 of 8 stations with our leaders here at the very first ever Hyrox Doubles World Championship.
Really happy to see Lauren Griffith doing well tonight because she had a really hard race the other evening, but she looks quite well here tonight. So it's great to see her having a good performance. It was a struggle for her in the solo race this year and last World Championships, and that's a tough feeling, especially because she had a really great first half of the season. So great to see her doing really well in this race this evening.
Absolutely. All right, top 3 teams are out, back onto the run. And I think we might just have a replay of that yellow card that we've seen here a second ago for Sinead Bent. Well, it'll come in up in a second, I have no doubt. But Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent in the lead ahead of Lauren Griffith and Lauren Weeks. And then in 3rd, Viola Oberländer and Linda Meyer. And here we go, taking a look. Oh, that is the penalty at the row. All right, let's see what's happening here. Megan, this is all you.
So she didn't have both feet in the straps before she grabbed the handle. That's a tough one. It's so easy to do that.
Again, you know, it happens in race mode. It's easy to judge from the outside, but rules are rules. It's a 10-second penalty, but they are doing what they need to do to be able to afford that 10-second penalty.
They definitely had a pretty considerable lead coming out of the lunges, so the 10 seconds might not be that big of a factor coming into the wall ball since they seem to have grown that lead there.
They've grown it up to 32 seconds, so you take the 10 seconds out, that's still 22 seconds. And then Viola Overlander, Linda Meyer at 1:01 behind Lucy Proctor in Sinead Bent. I mean, you know, Lauren and Lauren, that is some insane Hyrox firepower. But 22 seconds between that run and the wall balls, can they do it or not?
I do not doubt Lauren Weeks ever, and I would say that Sinead and Lucy are really going to have to go into that low 3-minute range for the wall balls, or they are going to struggle here. Not a great start. That was 4 no reps.
Now that is something you cannot afford against Lauren Weeks because she's not just fast, but she is clean.
Yes, absolutely, and that's a big part of the new counters is accuracy. You have to be incredibly accurate, hitting the ball exactly in the middle to get a rep to count. It's much more difficult than it has been in the past before we had these electric counters, so you really have to be precise.
Oh, it's a lot of no reps for Sinead here.
This is definitely going to be costly.
That can be very costly.
Especially with the 10 seconds in addition to that.
10 seconds. I'm not, if it's not obvious, I'm not going to call it when they cross the finish line here. We're definitely seeing some drama in the women's race. There is no doubt. And for everybody who's racing Hyrox right now, it says, hey, hold on a second. Why is she getting no reps? It's very simple. What you just said about the targets and hitting them center, they are dialed in differently for the elite. We expect a different standard, more precision from our elite athletes. And this is how this is happening here. And another no rep. So we now got 17 reps between the two of them. 10 seconds. That is at Lauren Weeks' speed. What are we talking about here? How many reps is that?
At least 3 to 4, maybe even 5. It depends on the cadence, but yeah, 4 reps at least for Lauren Weeks.
Oh, and how often have we seen a corner back punch? They are halfway through, Sinead Bent and Lucy Proctor. And you said that we've seen Lucy do them unbroken as well. She's definitely going to push through those 50 now. And if she keeps it, and look at how cool and calm she stays. But the gap now down from 17 to 13. Do you think Lauren Weeks is going to go for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There seems to be a discussion between the two Laurens. I'm interpreting that Lauren Weeks is asking Lauren Griffin if she wants to take a turn, and that looked like a no to me. I might be completely off here, but that's what it looked like. But Lucy Proctor, look at that. She's doing her thing. She actually manages to open the gap now. She's going a slightly faster cadence than Lauren Weeks. It's almost synchronized, but it's 13 to 14 reps. We're 75 in. This is gonna be the day. This is gonna be the race for our two debutantes, for Lucy Proctor and for Sinead Bent. 10 seconds.
9 reps.
15, 16 reps total for them.
Reps now.
Lucy.
She needs to keep them clean now. We're down to 8 reps, which means net we're down to about 5 reps with 15 to go, and she lost so many just now. She needs to another rep. This is gonna be a fight, a sprint down to the finish line for the seconds. She needs to keep them clean now. She cannot afford, she is looking good now. I think it might just work out for the two of them. Once again, I did not need my heart rate that high up. Lucy Proctor, here they go, Lucy Proctor, Sinead Bent. But you see, for them, they are aware they need to wait out the time, but this is enough.
And I think they're going to have it.
It's got to be more than 10 seconds for Lauren and Lauren. Here they go. Lauren Weeks going unbroken. It is going to be more than 10 seconds. But even our man Faisal down on the ground is still uncertain what it is. We know Viola Overlander, Linda Meyer, they're going to come in 3rd. They're almost through the wall balls now. Another medal for Linda Meyer, who's cheering on Viola Overlander right now. And there's the congratulations from Lauren Weeks for Sinead Bent and Lucy Proctor at the bottom right-hand corner. And it is, we knew they were strong, but it's got a little bit...
Go Viola! Why does it always happen to her?
You see, that is the question I ask myself. How is it always Viola creating the biggest drama for the women at the World Championships? Not quite the same drama as last year, though, and here is the confirmation. It is a little bit of a fairy tale that we're seeing here. Sinead Bent going through to this World Championship in the last chance qualifier. Two rookies racing here together, having a fantastic singles race, but missing out on the medals, and now crowning themselves world champions in the doubles.
Just 6 seconds in it in the end. 54-52 they finished.
6 seconds. They had to make it close with the amount of no rips they had there. But
yes, in a race like this, you really cannot afford, one, let alone 10 or more.
Wow, fantastic racing by Lucy Proctor, Sinead Bent. The celebrations from Linda Meyer and Viola Oberländer. And that is the return. Megan, you're right in the thick of it, right? So the impression we had when Linda Meyer took the title on Thursday, there wasn't a single soul in the women's field who didn't think she deserved it.
Linda is one of the most humble and kind women that I have had the privilege to race against. When I had my surgery, so kind, the words that she sent to me. She actually did a sneaky interview for my YouTube series, and I bawled when I saw it. She's just a phenomenal human being, and it's very difficult not to like her. She's just so likable, so kind, so sweet, and also an amazing face for the sport, especially I think in the Europe and in Germany community. So it's so nice to see her having the success that I feel like she deserves in the sport.
And that makes it, just like feel so honest, that celebration, that happiness for Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent that we've just seen. It's not for the cameras.
No,
she means
it's extremely genuine. Yep, she's just such a nice person, very, very happy for everybody despite how she does. And really, that's how all the women are. I have to say, there's no drama going on among the women like there is with the men. The women are supportive, they're happy, they want to fight to the end from start to finish, but at the end everybody can hug each other and be proud of each other. And that's one thing that I think makes this Elite 15 women's group so special.
But interesting what we've just seen on the screen there, as we're seeing Linda Meyer's mom congratulate every single person up there on stage. There is a bit of an argument with our head ref and Lauren Griffith going on in the back there. I wonder if that is the scenario that we've seen at the burpees, where you said like 3 judges around them, what's going on?
It's also really hard to know when you're the athlete what is happening, because it's super loud. It's really difficult to hear. You're super in the zone. So sometimes you're not even aware of what someone is saying to you. So they could just be also looking for clarification on like, hey, what was that about? So they learn and can implement that for the next time they race together.
But what an interesting scenario in England now as well. Sarah Virgiani, Kate Davey, those names have been around. Everybody's been focusing now on them. And now Lucy and Sinead are rocking up and it's like, move aside. Here we are.
There's new girls in London town.
But this is where the sport is going. I mean, you know it. Like, you had to ramp up your game to stay on top where you are, because the youngsters are pushing hard and you are the athletes inspiring them to be better, and they're learning from you on what they need to do to be as professional as they can be.
Absolutely.
And it's pushing you guys as well.
Absolutely. And again, I think it's been an amazing experience getting to be one of the women who have pushed the field and the times, and to be a part of that is really, really special. And it's awesome to see the trail that has kind of blazed for the next generation coming through. Lauren and I had spoken about how we're kind of like the old dogs now, and we're not really even that old. This was only my 3rd year, so it feels a little funny how the tides have turned.
Well, we've established that. Greg and I are the old dogs up here in that setup, that's for sure. It was fantastic to have the two of you here in the commentary, Megan. Thank you so much. But
Thank you for letting me join.
Lauren down in the studio is ready for all the insights and hopefully interviews with our new world champions. Lauren, let's take it.
Well, I cannot wait to speak to these ladies after that race. What an unbelievable way to close out their World Championships weekend. And I couldn't be more excited to introduce to you our guest in studio, James Kelly. And I know, James, I'm so sad not to see you out there racing tonight, but great to have you here. First time?
First time, and I hope I do well. I'm very nervous, but thank you for having me, Lauren. Now, what we just saw was absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
It was incredible. From your position, you were up, like looking from above, you were watching it all unfold. What was your main takeaway, having seen the first ever elite doubles?
I think most of these girls have raced three times now, and that was their third race. And honestly, what they just showed was absolutely amazing. I personally think that the aerobic capacity from all these girls, going from racing on Thursday night, doing a relay, and then backing up tonight was incredible.
We're quite big predictors in this sport, and we can look at numbers, we can look at stats, and we can have a fairly, I don't know, educated guess as to who might finish on a podium. But I feel like this weekend in its entirety has blown that out of the water.
Which is awesome, because you know what, that's sport as well, you know, and the race itself is unpredictable sometimes, and I just can't wait to actually have a chat to these girls and understand what actually happened in the race as well.
100%. Lucy and Sinead, these are two ladies who are debutantes this year. They've started, I mean, both very late in the season, and now we're seeing them on top of a podium in a doubles. I mean, you can't even write that script, can you?
Yeah,
can you put that into words and with your coaching head on, like what they've actually achieved this year?
Yeah, I'm obviously as a coach and an athlete. What these girls and obviously the elite men that we're about to see soon as well, their process is incredible, and making sure everything is dialed in, probably for the last 3 or 4 months really, is the most important thing, right? So Lucy and Sinead, and we've definitely they've definitely won.
We don't know yet. That's
right.
What's really interesting, right? So there are a number of collisions out on course in terms of penalties. We know that they took a 10-second penalty on the rower because Sinead Bent hadn't put her foot in before she grabbed her handle.
Right.
So we were accounting for that at the warbles. What we don't know is whether there is another 15-second penalty to be added, and the Hyrox officials are deliberating that at the moment. So, much like in the relay,
I know.
It is pure controversy at the highest level. And, I mean, athletes, I think it just goes to show that you should never give up. When you're out on course, even if there is this huge gap opening up, much like with Lucy and Sinead to the two Laurens, don't give up that fight.
No.
I think one could also be said about your performance in the elite.
Sure. And I'll be interested to know if the actual girls knew that they had a penalty or not. The thing about Hyrox, right, is I'm a big believer that the race actually only really starts after the rower. You can do so much work beforehand and put yourself in a position, but as you just said, it's a gritty race, and it's not over until that 100th warble, and you have no idea what's actually happened in the race with everyone else.
That's completely true. I spy two German ladies who are definitely closing out their weekend with a bronze medal. Viola and Linda, get yourselves up here. Well, first and foremost, Linda to take home a world championship, and now to finish on the podium in the elite doubles. What a weekend, girl.
Yes, it's crazy.
Talk me through this partnership. Obviously, you know each other, you race against each other all the time. You're both athletes on the same supplement team. How does that proximity and how well you know each other pay off when you're in the thick of battle?
Well, I think the good thing is that we know each other for so long. I mean, we compete against each other for a couple of times, but it's not that we are competitors in that way. We also
comes to a doubles, because there's girls out here tonight that have probably only raced once together. Do you girls think that's one of the biggest points in doubles is the communication, and if you know each other, that's going to be a really good thing? Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that can help. I think it's not a must, but it's helpful when it comes to things like running the same pace or
Viona's face there.
So Linda's pace is definitely not my pace at the moment, but yes.
Yeah, but normally you can talk.
Oh, Viola, after yesterday, I'm very happy to see that you were good on the farmer's carry. A little bit of redemption out there.
Yeah, yesterday was very confusing because in the briefing no one said that we have to drop off the kettlebells at another place where we find it in the start in the beginning, and so I was a little bit lost in between, and that was very, very annoying because we lost so much time. I think maybe 10 seconds or something like that. That was really very annoying. But all in all, I think the sled and also the farmer's carry was okay yesterday, but yes, it was tough today. I don't know how Linda can race this pace 3 times in a row. It's crazy.
Now,
but
girls,
yes.
I want to know, because I've got an answer for this, but I want to know if you guys think the doubles race itself is harder than the individual, or is the individual race harder than the doubles?
I think that depends on the fitness level, for example. So
sure.
For me, the doubles, for example, today was very, very tough. And in single races are also tough, but you can drop down a little bit. Your pace, you said, wow, now it's really, really tough for me. But all in all, the biggest thing in the doubles is, okay, that was maybe not my pace today. It was really hard to run, but Linda was very, very good at the workouts, and then I always had a little break, and that was very good. So I think all in all, maybe you can compare it. Maybe in singles when you want to win the world championships, for example, maybe that's the toughest race you can go. But yeah, I think it depends on your fitness level and doubles teams.
What I think is absolutely epic about you both is that you are sustaining being professional athletes alongside working full-time jobs.
Wow.
How do you do it?
It's a good question. I think it's a matter of discipline and passion for the sport. I love the sport, and for me it's not hard to get up early in the morning and to get my training in because it's my passion.
That's great.
You guys are awesome.
Is anything going to change now that you're the world champion?
Maybe we can talk in 2 months or something like that.
Oh, ladies, thank you so much for coming down to the studio. I mean, this is us closing off the World Championships in the elite level.
It is. Time for a party.
Time for a party. Yeah, yes, the famous Hyrox after party. You are more than welcome to head off and enjoy the moment with your families. I know your mum is waiting to give you a massive hug.
I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is a lovely sound man over there who will take those microphones from you. We'll just have a couple of hugs. It's definitely that time of the day. It's been a big old weekend of racing, but we have had some breaking news that Hyrox officials have come to the conclusion that, in fact, Lucy and Sinead are going to have to take a 15-second penalty on top of their 10-second penalty, which means with a 6-second difference between the times of Lucy, Sinead and Lauren.
Oh, wow.
The winners of the 2025 World Championships doubles is Lauren Weeks.
Oh my God.
And Lauren Griffith.
The girls.
Who now join us in studio with little Lily.
JK!
Hi!
Surprise!
Ladies, I have to know, obviously, with penalties deciding a race, were you aware of the early one when you got to the wall balls? Like, and now you're stood here as World Championships. Lauren, I can see you tearing up. Lauren, you're a world champion.
While we were running, I heard somebody screaming to us that they had multiple penalties, so I was aware. I'll be fully honest, like, we worked really hard, but I don't love a win that way. I don't love that, to be honest.
Yeah. How did you guys feel out there? Like, obviously racing yesterday and then obviously Thursday. How did your bodies feel out there tonight?
Honestly, I haven't felt great all season.
Really?
So, like this was kind of like, I think I need to take some time for injuries and whatnot to heal, and having this just means a lot. And doing it with someone like Lauren means that much more, honestly.
Lauren, I'm so excited for you because I know how you felt after your individual race, and to come out with a performance like this, just in terms of confidence in yourself and your own ability, and especially after, I know the qualifiers was like the worst day of your life. You were so ill.
I at least didn't throw up in a chalk bucket that day, so that was my win. But yeah, the qualifying was pretty rough. But today it was great just having both of us push each other at different points. Like, I could kind of help early on in the race, and then when I started feeling it, I had Lauren right there, like, come on, let's go, and really pulling me on the runs. And it's so amazing having a team where you can do that in the doubles.
I mean, speaking of the team in general, the hybrid engine is such a big part, and you're all such a close group of individuals, whether that's you two on course or alongside Zara and Kate who are racing in the same thing. How do you all level each other up in that environment?
I wish we could all be really close together, to be honest. It's like so hard when they're across the globe, but I mean, we have group texts which are super helpful, like just to feel inspired by what somebody else is doing that day, and like, okay, they got it done, like I have to work just as hard as they did.
What's the plan now, girls? Now, obviously, I myself, part of the hybrid engine, understand that there's no off-season. There's no off-season. What's the plan for the next couple of weeks?
Unfortunately for me, I tore the labrum in my left hip back in November, so I'm actually out for a few months.
Wow.
Just to recover. So for me, I get the unheard of off-season for the hybrid engine. But
that's okay.
For Lauren, what does it look like for you?
So I'm eyeing a couple obstacle course races in the near future. So I love competing. I'm gonna transition for a couple weeks, just into like a few other types of sport races.
Right.
Amazing stuff. And at what point is Lily taking over my job?
I know. Are you taking over?
I'm asking the same question. When she's gonna take over for me and run with Lauren.
Oh my gosh, what a story that would be. Mother and daughter out on course. Well, guys, I believe you have a gong. A gong to go and
collect. Congratulations, girls.
Congratulations. I think you can be so proud of this moment. This is absolutely lush in every way. What a way to close out the World Championships.
I had no idea you were commentating.
I know. Hello.
I can't wait.
I love the way JK just has a conversation to close out.
Bye, Lily.
Bye, Lily.
Congratulations. Oh, wow.
JK, you're a part of that crew. These are like
sisters.
Sisters, yeah.
They are sisters to me.
It's a really emotional moment for you as well.
Yeah. And it's a credit to Anthony Pericini, who's my coach, and obviously Lauren Weeks' husband. He's the rock of the hybrid engine, and the girls obviously did phenomenal tonight and on Thursday as well.
Well, let's take a little look back at what did happen. You can see on your screens now, this was the first infringement that resulted in the 10-second penalty. Sinead bent there, locking her foot in and reaching for the handle before her second foot was in. It's so easy to do. We've all been in that moment, right, JK? You're just looking for speed. And then the second, perhaps more damaging penalty came on the sandbag lunges. We see it here down on the right-hand side of your screen.
Wow, yeah.
What do you make of that?
Look, I think especially in the doubles, right, we're trying to go as fast as possible, and we can because we're getting rest. That is why I think there's some risk for those little 1%ers that are missed, right? Now, it's great. I'm just looking at Lily doing her thing, but
yes, it's the first gong of Lily's. It's actually not the first gong of Lily's career.
It's not at all.
Probably she's had many a gong.
Yeah. But look, like I personally think like little mistakes like this can definitely happen a lot more in the doubles because it's a faster race and you want to get it done as fast as possible instead of the singles, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just so easy. As we see Lily beautifully placed back the gong. It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, this whole, I don't know, movement that Lauren has started, this strong females in Hyrox, and you yourself are surrounded by strong females.
Absolutely.
Not just in your hybrid engine squad, but also over in the Nashville camp with Jess competing out there as well. And obviously seeing Joanna finish on a podium in the Elite 15. You must be one proud man right now.
I am. I'm very proud. I'm very lucky to have these girls in my corner as well. But look, Jess Petro tonight and last night, I'll be honest, Jess Petro definitely won our relay for us. She put on a show, and the last 6 weeks in Nashville at the Proven HQ was just unbelievable to get to know Jess a lot more, Joanna, and yeah, we're excited for more camps like that to come.
Can't wait, can't wait. Right, we're going to go to a quick break and we will be back with all action from the men's elite doubles.
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
Elite doubles alongside James Kelly, who unfortunately is not out in the thick of things tonight, but we have got a huge competition on our hands. And at the top of that list are current world record holders in Rich Ryan and Peleo Menendez-Fernandez, and those two are a formidable partnership.
Absolutely, and they obviously raced on Thursday night, and they both decided not to race last night in the country relay, and I personally think that that's a credit to them to make sure that they're fresh tonight, right? So they're going to be coming out very hot.
We're building up to the men's walkout. It's that moment where the heart starts to go, isn't it, JK? When you look at the field in front of you, if you were out there racing with Jake Dearden, outside of Rich Ryan and Peleo, who would you be nervous about?
I was thinking about this. I think one of the only guys out there that hasn't ran this week and is really fresh is Chris Woolley. Chris Woolley and Tom Rogers, who placed 6th on Thursday night. I think they're a dark horse because of the fact that Chris Woolley hasn't raced before. These guys are very, very fatigued from last night and obviously Thursday night as well.
100%, and if you think of the confidence that Tom Rogers must have off the back of a 6th place finish in his debut Elite 15, the first time he's ever been on grid, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, and the grid format versus just a normal format is totally different. Tom Rogers did outstanding on Thursday night. Now, it'll be interesting because these guys are going to come out very hot, but as I said before, Lauren, the race doesn't really start until after the rower. So I'm really excited about what's going to come after the rower.
Okay, now if we cast our minds back to London and that final qualification race, only 6 seconds separated 3 teams. That was the Brits, Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell, who eventually took the win, Jake Williamson and Alan Poy, and Hidde Viersma and Thierry Willingberg. When you think about how tight that is, you know how fast it is out there.
Oh, man,
it's not inconceivable to think we'll have similarly tight times this evening.
Absolutely, but what I'm excited for is all these times are on different courses. Now tonight, they're facing each other head to head on the same course, and I'm really excited about the Battle of London, Lauren. We've got the Charlie and Ollie, Jake Williamson and Alan, and then Hidde and Thierry.
So I know, those guys together are going to be great fun to see how it plays out. In particularly Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell. Now, to give a little bit of context there, these are guys who have been fighting in the pro field for years. They're regularly coming at the top of the London pro races, and at one point in time they held the men's relay world record. So they know how to play both the doubles and the relay to a T. And Charlie Botterill last night in the relay, I would say for his debut amongst the Elite 15, that was a pretty solid start.
Absolutely. I think Charlie, I don't know him personally, but I follow him on social media, and I feel like he is one of a kind for a doubles aspect. I think he's got the power and the strength, and more so the anaerobic ability to really push in a doubles format rather than a singles. So I'm really excited to see what he can do tonight.
Now, from the Sutherlands on your screen to Jake Williamson and Alan Ploy, that is a partnership I did not see coming.
Me either. Now, they're going to be going out really hot. We obviously know Jake can run, and we saw that last night. And yeah, the battle of the London boys. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that.
We see Jake Williamson and Alan on your screens right now from Slovenia and England. The unlikely pairing. Jake Williamson, a hugely experienced athlete in the pro doubles field, now finally getting to race amongst the elites. As Charlie and Ollie Russell also take to the course, they are looking to win this. They aren't here to take part, despite it being the first elite race for both of those men, pending Charlie's last-minute drag into the relay.
Yeah.
But what about these two, Ryan Kent and Rylan Shadegg? That is on their given day, that is a partnership that could make a podium, but there's an element of redemption for both.
Absolutely, and Ryan Kent has been there, done that. He's been a force to reckon with in Hyrox, and I think that's going to play a big role tonight, especially later on in the race. Just having the experience is really good for, obviously, Ryan Kent.
Those two setting a 49.51 in Miami, but Rylan Shadegg arguably a bit disappointed with how he performed in the elites. When you have a bad performance in one race, how much does that drive you to perform in the next one that you take to the course in?
Yeah, it's so hard, Lauren. I think it's obviously like a very hard weekend when you obviously don't perform. But hey, I know Rylan. He's definitely going to come out and feel as if he's got redemption. And look, yeah, it's a part of racing, right? It doesn't go to plan all the time, and it's about acknowledging it, forgetting about it, and letting it rip now.
Let it rip. That's exactly what these gentlemen lining up on the start line are going to do. So let's head on up to a commentary. Tilt Schenk and Greg Williams have got a very special guest alongside them.
That is 100% right, Lauren. Great to be back here for the next race, and we got the one and only Jake Dearden with us, who really wanted to race more this weekend. It's fair if you say you'd rather be down there right now than with us.
Yeah, but it's the second best, isn't it? Obviously, I'd love to be on the start line, but yeah, we've given two other guys an opportunity to race, and I'm just excited to watch it.
The great thing is you're going to witness drama firsthand. This World Championship has delivered drama from the beginning to the end. We just saw it, we just heard it from Lauren, with Lucy and Jeanette thinking they were the world champions. Then there was an additional penalty. They were relegated to second. But the true drama queens throughout this weekend have been our men. So I think this will be very, very exciting. We've all seen the drama of last night with the relay with one major player in the middle of the screen here with Jeremy. And with that, we're jumping into this men's doubles race. It's going to be wild. There is no doubt. This is going to be furious. This is going to be I don't know if fight is the right word, but I think this might just be a wild race today.
It's going to be stacked.
It's going to be crazy, and I think this is the hardest race to call. We've done terrible at calling races so far this weekend.
Oh yeah, which I feel like is our job. At least it makes us, you know, sound not biased.
But yeah, there's so little between all these 15 teams. It's going to be super fast, super exciting.
I think one of the big questions is going to be exactly what we're seeing here at the front. Tim Wenisch, he definitely has a win in him, but can Yannick Schappler go with him or not? I did say, and I might get a little bit of trouble from the Germans afterwards, but besides Viola's mishap at the farmer's carry, I feel it was Yannick Schappler who lost the medal for Germany at the burpees yesterday. He wasn't at the same level as the teams ahead of him, so I'm very interested in seeing how he's going to hold up with Tim today, who is absolutely on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire, and he deserves it. Do you know, he's been in the sport the longest, and he's not had the best of luck the last couple of years, and this year's his year.
I mean, you know, that's the good news for you. He's proven you can have a really crappy World Championship. You could fly there, not even start at all. You had at least a very short period out there on the track, and the way you do it is you come back and just take the world title. I think that would be okay with you, right?
Oh, that'd be more than okay.
Tim Wenisch looking around, but you're in the thick of it, the whole thing. So let's just quickly talk about it. Yannick knows he is the man under pressure here. He knows that Tim is definitely out there in contention to take the title. How does that pressure feel right now?
I don't know about you, but if you've ever raced the doubles and you're the unfitter person, it doesn't feel good. It's a nightmare. But and you just, you know, you feel out of breath and tired, but you also feel that guilt that you're letting your partner down. But I'm sure Yannick will be okay today.
I think he does. I think it's a similar scenario that we've seen with Lindemeyer, Viola Oberländer. His confidence builds up when he's racing with Tim Wenisch. Tim Wenisch is good for his race, so I think that's something we'll see. But let's talk about the two gentlemen with them, Greg. Our Dutch duo.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. The big question for you, what's your take on it? Will we see the established teams, the known names, on the podium in the end? Or do you think that double specialists like those two will have a real shot today?
It's a good question. Those two in particular, their running looks so strong. We saw them in Paris, and they actually narrowly missed out on getting a qualification spot in Paris because the Roberto Diciedo and Louis Garcia came through in the later wave and knocked them down. But then they ultimately got the spot in London. Their running is super strong. What isn't strong is their wall balls relative to a lot of the other guys. So that they know if they want to get that first spot or a podium spot, they know they need a little bit of a gap going into the wall balls. So they're going to want to push the earlier stages of the race.
But look at it coming around the turn. So I want to see the time they're going in yesterday in the relay. They went in at 3:45. They're pretty much matching that time today. And you know what's up at the front. If Jake Williamson, Jeremy and so on are about 20 to 30 meters behind and not leading this run into the workout.
You know it's fast when that's happening. Jake's an insane runner.
We're talking about Tim and Yannick just now as well, but they know each other super well, you know. Like so they'll know that if Tim is the stronger runner, then maybe Yannick will know that he's going to get a little bit more of a rest on the stations. They're likely plan that out, and obviously communication is important during the race, but they're likely plan that Yannick's going to get a little bit more rest at the stations.
So here we go, the Dutchies first into the workout station. It's been a really good weekend already for Hidde Versma, and now racing with Thierry Willigenburg in station number 1 here. Then we got Tim Wenisch, Yannick Schappler for Germany in next. And yeah, you mentioned it, you know, an unlikely duo with Jake Williamson and Alan Floyd. How did that happen?
I'm not entirely sure. In all honesty, I know Jake felt that like the doubles and the relay in particular suits his fitness level, suits his style of racing, and he was desperate to get into this race tonight. He hadn't managed it up until the London race, and I know he was like looking for suitable partners at that point, and ultimately, yeah, partnered up with Alan.
I love what we just seen there on the right-hand side with Jack Williamson at the skier going to 1:29 average. When he set that open world record with Fabian Eisenlauer in Berlin, It's like Fabian Eisenlau is an insane runner. But when he posted afterwards, it's like, to watch Jake Williamson, what he's doing at the ski erg was just insane.
Let's go! Tim there, 131, 132. That's very impressive as well.
A super fast cadence there as well, you can see.
Yeah. And this might be where, like, the point I was just talking about, if Tim knows he's the stronger runner, he can afford to expend a little bit more energy on things like this, the ski and, you know, that super high cadence, pull at 131, 132 and get away with it, because he knows he might be able to relax a little bit on the run.
But obviously, just on the right-hand screen, popping in and out, that is the duo we have to talk about today. I mean, if you look at Rich Ryan, Pelayo, Menendez, Fernandez, they are the ones to beat today.
And they're my favourite people as well. Like, within the Elite 15, like, they're both so humble, they're both so grateful to be there, and, you know, the fact that they've got the world record at the moment just shows that they're into the fight.
You see, that is a big difference. They're your favourite people because they're so humble and nice, and we love that as well. But for our work, we'd love them to be a little more entertaining.
We want drama.
We want drama. It works really well for us in our job here. But no, they're fantastic people. And if you look at the background, what really impresses me with Palau is so many professional triathletes have tried to make that switch, but nobody has done it the way he has done it.
Remember, we're seeing, I feel like we are seeing more triathletes coming into the sport, like Hidden Weersma has a triathlete background, Thierry Willingham, his partner, he comes from triathlon. We see Tom Rogers on Thursday night, and in this race, he comes from triathlon as well. So it does feel like more triathletes are coming into the sport.
All right, I don't think that the numbers are right that we're seeing here on the left. Rich Ryan, our graphic right now, standing at 626 meters. So that is certainly not right what we're seeing there, but our first duo's out. Tim Venus, Yannick Sapla. And then here we go. Ploy and Williamson, the Dutchmen are out. Here comes Dylan Scott, Jeremy with him. Charlie Bottrell. Charlie Bottrell. I mean, he very, very clearly said 2 days ago, he's here for one mission. That is surprising me, seeing Palau and Rich Ryan come out just now. I'm wondering if, considering the graphics also just stood still, if there was an issue with their ski erg. So we'll see if we can find out some information on that. That's a little bit surprising to see how many seconds they lost there. But Charlie Bottrell, I mean, the youngster who cannot stop racing. You say there's a race on the weekend, Charlie Bottrell will be there. If you tell him there's 3, he will be there. And yet he comes here in his first year in the elite at the World Championship, and he goes like, of course, I'm going to win the Open and the Pro Doubles. What do you think? What are the chances?
He actually just said to me as he was walking down the steps to the start time, this is going to be the greatest race you've ever seen. So he's promised a show for sure. But yeah, you're right. He can cope with an incredibly high volume of racing and of training. I wouldn't put it past him to get those.
We will see. We're waiting for the show. It's only been one workout, but can we all agree this is plain rude what we're seeing from Hidde Weersma? He is a giant. He should not be running this smooth and fast.
Yeah, it's super smooth he's running. It feels like he's come on a huge amount this season. Like he's obviously always been a good runner, but he does look super smooth, and he's really pushing it here. And I remember watching the race in Paris as well, and he looked very, very similar. Looking really, really good at the moment when he's running.
Looking at what we're seeing here right now is of the situation we just had down in the studio when Viola Oberland and Linda Meyer with Lauren in the studio. And Linda said, you know, I don't know, James Kelly said something about their running being absolutely on top and everything. And Viola just going like, oh no, drama, we promise you drama, I cannot believe it. Rich Ryan and Pelayo Fernandez are out of the race. We don't know yet what has happened, but the ski erg standing still, apparently not a surprise. It looks like there's drama and trouble with Pelayo.
I hope he's okay. He mentioned that he had a little bit of tendinitis the other day when he was racing the Elite 15. Essentially, it's that.
Oh, the first expectation is that he blew his calf in that first run, going out hard with the others. That just must feel too familiar right now, Jake.
I feel for him, I really do. And like I say, you know, he's not just feeling bad, he's probably feeling bad for Rich as well, because, you know, Rich is standing there next to him, ready to go.
But we also know, I mean, that is a great thing about them being them, is we know Rich is not a single percent angry at Pelayo. They tracked it together, they hit those incredible races throughout the season with the world record and everything, and they will be back without a doubt. But this is the duel at the front right now, and I'm properly impressed with Yannick Sapla. He seems to have found his running legs here for the doubles today. And I was just talking to Tom Hogan on the way here to commentary, and he asked me who I think has a real shot. And I said, well, they're the ones that create the least drama. And, you know, among Pelayo and Rich, I said, I think Tim and Yannick might have a real shot. And he said, no way, Yannick is not strong enough. Wait and see. It's early in, but this is a format that really suits him.
And they're moving the sled super well at the moment. They've done a length unbroken each. Tim's just done the second, or his second length, the third length unbroken as well. So they're moving very well through this.
Yeah, but that's the second thing that is rude. Hidde shouldn't be running that as fast as he is, considering how tall he is. Tim shouldn't be pushing a sled the way he does, considering how skinny he is.
Interesting. Tim's done 2.5 lengths. Yannick's done 1.5 there. So you know, great tactics there, considering Tim's the faster runner.
But I think it's a really smart move.
For sure.
That considering Tim is also the stronger runner, have him finish off the workout, give that little bit of extra rest to Yannick, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Just as Yannick was running out there, he was like waving to the crowd, spurring them on, getting good cheers, and like when someone's doing that, they're feeling good, right? And
to everybody who's out on the screen, you're really missing out. I mean, we have the comparison to the last couple of World Championships, and this is another step up. The crowd now understands the sport. They know the players in the sport and everything. It's the same we've seen with that farmer's carry from Sinead Bent earlier. Yannick Sapla waves to the crowds, and we can barely understand the word in here anymore. The crowds are going nuts. It's really fantastic to see.
One thing we did miss there in all the excitement was actually Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller actually left the sled push in second place. They made up a lot of time on that sled push. Super fast from them.
Absolutely. I'm wondering, well, I'm not wondering, I know you're going to pull up the times they've been pushing, so we'll have them in a second here. But that has been a very good workout for Tim Wenisch and Yannick Sapla.
Did Marcus Wallace qualify in Houston?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So I remember when we raced against them, they came out way ahead on both the sled push and sled pull of us. Marcus is a really strong athlete on the sleds.
But how did the rest of the race go?
Well, no comment. After no, they finished third, I think, and yeah, they did incredible.
But look at the bottom. They went a 1:15. That is another 4 seconds faster than Tim Wenisch and Yannick Sapla, who had a really strong station there. And that is, you compare it to the Dutch boys there. That's, I mean, that is 17 seconds right there for the Germans. That's been a really solid move, considering the sled push has been one of the biggest challenges or deciders of if top or flop race here at the World Championship so far. The other one, however, has been the sled pull, so we need to wait this one out. Once we've gone through the sled pull, we know, okay, now we can focus on Greg, who knows the strengths inside out of our athletes, and we'll get all those details. Tim Wenisch looking around, making sure Yannick Sapla is down. You see, I talk about German, and I just weave a little German word in there. Bam. I accidentally said, he's checking if Yannick Sapla is da instead of there. That's a German coming out in me.
both Dawson Miller and Marcus Wallace, they're 6'3" tall, so two of the tallest in this race. And I think the sled push, like Jake touched on, I think the sled push is their strong point, really. You would expect them to move it quick, but 1:15 is a very, very fast time.
We've talked with Megan in the women's race about how important communication is, but Jake, how much of an advantage can it be for Tim and Yannick that they're friends, they're training partners, they're business partners, they know each other 100% inside out?
It makes all the difference, especially on the doubles. Like, that's where, like, you see here, you see how many, like, the difference between, you know, first and last, and there's 34 seconds. Like, communication is super, super key, and you know, that can be made up just in working well together.
That is absolutely hectic. It is what we've predicted. It is what we've assumed. I mean, talking to the teams as we got the leaders coming into workout number 3 now, talking to the different doubles throughout the weekend, pretty much every single one of the 15 doubles said, oh yeah, of course we can win this. There's no doubt. Everybody believes they can win this here today, and this is what we're seeing right now. I mean, there's only been 2 workouts, but 34 seconds between first and 15. That is absolutely wild, and now it's all coming down to how fast can they move those sleds. The Germans a little bit ahead, but I'm keen on seeing what second place can do here.
This could be an important station for Tim and Yannick. So if we look at their Paris result, they're actually 21st on the sled pull in Paris. So this is probably their weaker station relative to the other races in their qualifying race. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do on this one.
And you see, they're still a few seconds ahead, but strong pull in there from the chasers behind. Marcus Wallace, Dawson, Miller. It looks like they might have actually moved past the 2 Dutchmen just a little bit, just like 1 pull ahead of Hyrox and Thierry Willigenberg now. Again, 4 lanes to be done here. And we're looking a little bit at the top 4 here. But with the top 15 being so close, we've seen this in the women's race, there might be really strong movers a little further down the field. So let's see what the standings are after this workout. But that is some serious movement we're seeing here right now from Ryland Shadek. That is fast sled pulling.
Marcus is catching them up, the neck and neck, almost.
Oh, now we're seeing the top 4 teams so close together. And actually the Germans drop into 3rd now. So we've got Tim Winch, Yannick Chapla, we've got Hyrox, Thierry Willigenberg, we got Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller in the mix there as well, but also Ryan Kent and Riley Shadek. They are moving right now. They've taken the virtual lead at the sled pull, and the Germans need to be real careful now that they're not losing too much ground, because 2 teams have gone past them now. So Max Wallace, Dawson Miller and Ryan Kent and Ryland Shadek now gone past the Germans, and they're shoulder to shoulder, neck to neck now with the 2 Dutchmen. And here we go. We've got a new leader heading out. Oh no, here we go. Short confusion, and here they go. So, Ryan Kent, Ryland Shadek out first, then Marcus Wallace, Dawson Miller, and here we go. Oh, a little bit of drama there for the Dutchmen. They are called back. The sled was not far enough back. They're losing a few valuable seconds. Okay, I'm curious about that one. So, the referee made the effort to show the empty lane a yellow card. Oh. I mean, there's no repercussions to a yellow card once they're gone, really. They were called back to finish the pull, so that's an interesting one. And here we go, Dylan Scott with his partner Jeremy from Ireland. They are a little further behind than I would have expected.
Yeah, Jeremy's definitely more suited to doubles and relay, like Jet Williamson is, you know, a very similar athlete. But yeah, I'm surprised that they're so far back.
But Ryland Shadek and Ryan Kent, they were the big movers in this one. They came in fourth, they left in first, and this is what it looked like. Here we go. So strong. Short confusion on where to go. Hold on, what's happening? Oh, that was 4 already. It looks like he wasn't certain that they were done. Well, that didn't cost a lot of time, and you know, it's so easy to say from the outside, they've done this over and over again. But what does it really feel like in race mode when all the blood you need is going to the extremities to make sure you're doing your job?
Yeah, you can't think. You need them directions of where you're going. Yeah, and then split seconds count as well. Sometimes it's better to leave a little bit in reserve so you can think and you know where you're going.
It is like, I remember my very first race. It's so easy to judge from the outside. The biggest mistake, I would say, or the one that's most often, is not counting the laps correctly that you need to run out there. And I just remember, like, in my first race, it was like, oh, now I understand. It's like, math ain't working when you're going hard, you know, in a race. And going hard are those two in the front. I would say that Tim Wenisch and Yannick Chapla are the slightly stronger runners right now, and it looks like they're running back up to them now.
This turned out to be a great race.
It's Ryan Kent and Rylan Steg here. They finished second in their qualifier for this race in Miami behind Pelayo and Rich Ryan, but they set a 49.19 time, which at the time would have been a world record if it hadn't been for Pelayo and Rich also breaking the world record in that race. So super fast time they've got in them.
If it hadn't been for them, and here we see it, a red card for our Australian French double, so Daniel Payne and Tango Cruz. Red cards. And here we go, we got our top teams all bunched up together, the top 3. Only Hyrox, Thierry Willigenberg just trailing a little bit, with Jake Williamson and Alan Floyd there now as well, right behind. This is an incredibly close race. We've seen a few teams lose valuable times now, time at the sled, but we're still talking 37 seconds after the sled between first and 10th, as we're now coming into the next workout station.
So Tim and Yannick have made up over 12 seconds there on that run, so looking particularly strong on the runs.
And here we go, burpees.
Burpees. All right, do your magic, Greg. You know, is there a team that might have a weakness at the burpees?
That's a good question. I think Tim and Yannick moved particularly well on that through Paris, as did and Rylan Steg, and Ryan Kent moved well on theirs in Miami. So I wouldn't say there's an obvious weakness with any of these teams on this station, in all honesty. But it is one where like seconds matter and
yellow card,
penalties matter. Yeah. So is
yellow card for Yannick Chapla.
Communication is key on this one.
I mean, that head judge, you know, it is the toughest judge you can find. She's a CrossFit athlete herself. You know, next yellow card, so Hyrox and Thierry Willigenberg seeing a yellow card as well. Great aerial shot that we're having off the turf here. And a red card for the Germans. Red card for the Germans. There is your 10-second penalty already for Germany. They got to be real careful now. 2 lanes and a red card already. That is going to put some pressure on you.
And Tim and Yannick as well with a red card, was that?
That is the red card I meant, so yeah. And if I heard Faisal down on the ground correctly, there might have been a red card for the Dutch team now as well. Like, how do you respond to that? It's got to just, you know, play with your confidence.
Another red card. Another red card. 20 seconds there.
Another red card for the Germans. 20 seconds. Oh my word. I mean, we said it. We had drama in the women's race, and we said the drama is far from over. The men are delivering. 2 red cards for Team Germany. we got to quickly jump back to what happened in the women's race. All right, so with Jeanette Bent and Lucy Proctor getting a penalty, and then 10-second penalty, they brought it to the wall balls. They won the race by 6 seconds, only to find out there was another 15-second penalty for a mishap at the sandbag lunges. That's 25 seconds they had that cost them the title of the world champion. The German team now has a 20-second penalty already.
Well, Yannick's got some homework, burpee practice.
He definitely has. Good that he's got a good coach in Tim Vinish. Just in a picture run out, Charlie Bottrell. So look, what happened? Oh, okay, yeah, no parallel step would be my best guess. Oh, and look at that reaction by Tim Vinish. Not happy. You do not need to translate that into German, what we've just seen here. So, here we go. So we're seeing our lead duos only with the Germans, and now the arguing is beginning. This is the moment you got to keep your cool, and how hard is that? I mean, there's got to be a fire burning inside Tim Vinish now. So now you got Yannick Chapla, who caused him a 20-second penalty single-handedly, and he's suffering on the run right now. This must be absolutely brutal at the moment.
I feel for him. I really do. Yeah, he's just got to stick with Tim now. He's just, you know, if he's tired, Tim does more work. And that's the beauty of racing doubles. Like, you've got to take one for the team and work hard for your partners. Like, you can look at Yannick there, he's struggling, he's holding back.
What's your take on his body language right now?
It looks like he's surrendering there, but yeah, Tim needs to, you know, do a little bit more of this row now. The row is a great chance to get back in the game. You know,
isn't this the moment where, as Tim Vinish, you drop back, you get next to him, you give him words of encouragement, you let him know it's okay, and you build him up and you go hard again?
There's two ways of looking at it. You can either do that, or you can, you know, you can scare him by keeping that distance.
That's how we German do it. We go with the scary version, you know, tough love. That's how we do it. Yeah. But they aren't the only team that's got a double red card. So our duo of Veersma and Willigenberg, they figured, hey, if the Germans can do it, we can do it as well. So they got their double red card as well, collecting extra seconds here.
Jake's right. Coming up to the road, this is where you get your biggest rest in a doubles race. Like maybe, you know, even if you're splitting it 50-50, that's over 1.5 minute rest for that Yannick can get at this row, and you know, maybe pick up the pace on the next run.
Back into the station, and I just wanted to say, well, the good thing is the row is coming up. There's not much you can do wrong, but that was one of the penalties that cost Jeanette and Lucy the world champion title. So things can go wrong. You need to be clean and smooth here first, and that means both feet need to be into the straps before you grab the handle. Is this something you practice? Are you practicing the on and off in itself?
I never do. I think it's probably a little bit less important when it comes to singles, but definitely for doubles, you need to practice it, especially the transition.
So we hope not much goes wrong. So here we go. Our employee Jack Williamson coming in as well, and behind them is the man who promised us a show, Charlie Bottrell. It's about time he begins the show.
He's there. Where's that full spot there? No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on the graphic. But it looks like they're there. I mean, it is very close as they all come into this road, and there's not a lot of time to be made up on that road. But yeah, there's not a lot in it either.
I'm so impressed with Ryland.
Oh, absolutely. Such a strong race.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, this man here right now, he is driven. He knows, he knew, like, going into those burpees, they were doing well. They were through the slits, and there is the hope inside him, you know, that they could take, or that he could take a second title here. And he is on fire. He's going to turn that anger into race pace now. And Yannick Chapla can just try and pray that he can somehow hold on to Tim Wenisch. But at the end of the day, that is something great. You know, that is part of racing as well. You start at a team and you win as a team, or you lose at a team.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's very much a team race, and that's why I like talking to your partner, how they're feeling, and understanding their strengths and weaknesses throughout this race is critically important, especially when every second matters.
Quick communication there between Tim Wenisch and Yannick Chapla. That is very important, letting them know what the game plan is here, letting Yannick Chapla know how he's feeling on the row, and it looks like Tim Wenisch is feeling really, really well. I think Tim Wenisch right now is in that mode where I'm like, I've proven on Thursday I can race singles as fast as the doubles. I'm just going to do this here. Yeah. Yannick, you better be getting ready for a fast run that's coming up. I got this workout.
Looks like Rich and Ryland there are changing reasonably often. I've seen them change a few times now. It's interesting that how they're approaching this. I'm not sure what they're doing, but it's probably at least every 250 metres that they're changing.
Oh yeah, and this is a great double we're seeing here. I mean, you gotta love them, you know, with Eugenio Bianchi and Bo Wills. I mean, Eugenio, that's Italian. He's like a typical Italian, you know, he's loving life and always happy and a little bit of a showman. And Bo Wills, who's just so calm and quiet and strikes without, you know, you can't see him, and he just strikes in the second half of the race. Yeah. I love seeing Charlie Bottrell cheer on the crowds there right now, but somebody needs to explain him the show doesn't mean entertain the crowds. The show means let's go hard. Focus your energy, my friend, on racing hard here, but you got to love Charlie Bottrell and the way he approaches this sport. I think he's going to be a household name for years to come. And Yannick Chapla, Tim Wenisch, they are out, but they are still shoulder to shoulder with Ryan Kent and Ryland Shedek, but they got the 20-second penalty. So in the virtual, they're now 20 seconds still behind. They need to find a way to give Yannick Chapla wings and somehow drop Ryan Kent and Ryland Shedek in this workout or the next couple of workouts.
That was Roberto Viciedo and Luis Garcia, I think we saw coming out in third spot there in that round. One thing to keep an eye on there is just how close they can stay in contention with the leaders, especially as we approach the wall balls. Incredibly impressive thing that they seem to be able to do is the wall balls significantly quicker than anyone else. We saw them do a 3:05 on the wall balls in Paris, and that was like 10 seconds quicker than anyone else and like 20 seconds quicker than a lot of the guys that achieved in this race. So their turnover and their accuracy on the wall balls is very, very impressive. So if they're within 10-15 seconds as they come into the wall balls, they could do it.
It's going to be a wild and furious race, there's no doubt. And I'm pretty sure I just heard Jake ask for a little more drama, so I'll give you a little more drama. We've just confirmed that the 2 red cards is not 2 times 10 seconds. It accumulates to 30 seconds. Hence the 31-second gap that we've seen there. Tim Wenisch is now doing, you know, what he needs to do. He needs to put the hurt on those 2 boys with him, on Ryan Kent and Ryland Shedek, and Yannick Chapla just got to find a way to go with them. This race is not over yet, there is no doubt, but 30 seconds, that's some serious baggage.
Yeah, that is a lot to be made up, really. I mean, Tim's certainly going to give it his best shot, but 30 seconds is a huge gap in a race this close.
I think the good thing right now for Tim is that they're quite obviously, in both teams, there's one man hurting a lot. But if you look at the individual performance, I mean, Tim Weinisch looks so smooth.
Oh, he's high-fiving people along the way. He's chilling. I'm so excited to see him just progress into next season as well. At these next majors, and he's leading the doubles, leading the singles, and it looks like he's just going for a 10K.
He's so young as well. He's been around the sport for years, but I think he's 26, so he's got years and years ahead of him in this sport.
The thing is, if you look at their general performance and so on, I don't see them do a lot of damage on Ryan Kent and Ryan Shadek at the farmer's carry. So it's going to all come down to the sandbag lunges and wall balls, I would think. Here they go into the farmer's carry. We're about to find out.
Here we go.
Tim Weinisch, how hard can he go in this farmer's carry? That is the big question. 1 3/4 loop around this grid. And then out, you got to drop him clean. And here come the chasers. Well, this is still very, very close in the front. One thing we can say for certain right now, most people speculated we're going to see a showdown of 4, 5, maybe 6 teams at the wall balls. I think the gaps are now starting to open up a little more.
They are, but just remember that we saw Sinead and Lucy get nearly 20 no reps. So that can be, 45 seconds up to a minute.
Let's go, Yannick.
Look at Yannick Schapler. Yannick Schapler, he is trying to find redemption for the 30 seconds that he cost the German team. He's just got to get the 2 Dutchmen out of his way now. Caught onto the kettlebells, put him down clean. That is the important thing, not exactly a German strength, but it looks like they've done it. And out onto the run, and here come the chasers. It's not a lot, but they made up about 5 of the 30 seconds now.
That's Yannick saying sorry.
Oh, and more drama. They're called back. The kettlebells tipped over for Ryan Kent and Rylan Shadek. That is unbelievable. I want to see if that impacts the race, because I assume there might be a penalty on top of just being called back. I'm not 100% sure.
I think if you go back and
if you go back, you're golden. But that cost them serious time. So the gap was 30 seconds because of the penalty. They came in shoulder to shoulder, so 30 seconds between them. Then Yannick Schapler made a fantastic move at the farmer's carry, opening the gap to about 5 seconds, and then that drama for Ryan Shadek and Ryan Kent. Wow. Have we just seen the race-deciding moment?
It could be. I was working through the data, trying to work out where maybe Tim and Yannick could pick up, the time on the stations, and it didn't look to be a lot between them. But obviously, my spreadsheets don't factor in dropping the kettlebells and having to turn around and pick them up. That's things like that can make a huge difference.
And here, this is Tim Weinisch. I think this one turned everything around for Tim Weinisch in his head as well now. It's not angry Tim anymore, it's motivational Tim now.
Yeah, I think he heard you. He must have done.
Yeah. We're going from tough love, we're trying everything. We're going from tough love, to just a little bit like a pat on the back. I literally think this moment just now made them believe again. But that's where you see how important it is, to fight all the way until the end. We talked about JK's individual race, where the race was basically done after the sled pull, but he never gave up, and he showed this incredible comeback to still end up in 4th. And you got to go all the way to the end. We've seen Tim Weinisch again in return in the individual, or even today, Lucy and Sinead almost lose it at the wall balls again. It is not done until the very last wall ball in this race here. But we are 6 workouts in. We got 2 workouts to go. And we've got a little bit of a switch here.
Quick question. Obviously, you've probably assessed the doubles a bit. Do you think it suits a bigger person or a leaner person?
That's super hard to say. I mean, I think if we look at Rich and Pelayo, they're not the biggest, they're leanest, they're probably the fastest runners in this field. So I think you just have to look at who's the fastest runner for you know, the most likely to be quickest at doubles. But obviously, you know, the stations do play a part, especially at the pro weights. But I don't think I could say that it suits the bigger guys at all. No.
So let's talk about Roberto Jimeno and Luis Garcia Rubio. They are now, I don't think the graphic was 100% right what we've seen there, because Rylan and I think that time was taken on the way out before they had to return. But it means right now in the virtual, we've got the two Spanish 1 second ahead of the Germans. There's a surprise in this race.
Yeah, it is, but they surprised us in Paris as well. They won the race in Paris. They were in a later wave, so they weren't even getting to race against these guys, which can typically push you on. If you're in a later wave, the track was busier when they've done that, so we know they're capable of very, very fast times.
And they're coming back in here, double check. Tim Venus just double checking with Yannick Chapla. Is this our turn? Yes, it is. And I'm really impressed right now by how Yannick Chapla turned this one around mentally, quite obviously as well. He's still fighting, his body's still shaking when he's running, but his head looks a lot like the face is a lot more composed, a lot more focused again. But a great run by those two as well. And I can't wait to see what the actual gap is. Here come the Spanish in as well. Wow, what a race we're seeing here.
These guys are pushing themselves to the limit at the moment as well.
It's absolutely incredible. Sandbag lunges. Another technical workout, I want to say. This is another one where you really want to be very clean. I'm not sure Yannick Chapla is too excited to see the same referee again right now.
He's looking well though, he's looking strong there. Perfect reps.
So it was a 17-second lead, I think Tim and Yannick had over Ryan and Ryan coming into that. So effectively, we take into the 30-second penalty, the 13 seconds behind.
Which is still not enough. So they got to be swift now. They got to keep it clean. They got to be fast. But that was really good looking and fast lunges we've seen from Yannick there. But they still need to open up more. Oh, that's an interesting one. Again, that was miscommunication, nothing else, right?
Yeah,
what we've seen there.
Yeah, that was a pretty poor transition.
So it looks like they just mistook the lane, that little square lane, Rylan and Ryan, for the turnaround point, but it wasn't. So a switch over with one lunge to go. Oh, but they are moving well as well now. That is really strong lunges from Yannick Chapla. You know what? It's a really long step, and you know how much strain that puts on your muscles.
Yeah, it affects you completely differently. Obviously, it loads the hamstrings and glutes a lot more. When it comes to running after, you definitely feel it.
Tim's moving super well through those.
Yes, and if you compare that to the individuals, you know they're going absolutely all out. They're not taking those little in-between steps that you see in the individuals. It's really about every second now.
Sprint. Now this is where the tactics change. In my opinion, you know, you're running this last K as fast as you can. And whoever has anything left in them is picking up that wall ball and doing as many reps as they can. Whether that's just 10 reps, 15 reps, and then quick change. And then, personally, I found that's the most efficient way, rather than just pacing it and saving something for the wall balls.
So go all out. You are two people there, so one can recover, that's for sure. But the importance, I think, and that's what we've seen throughout the race over and over again, is you need one who's at least has got enough oxygen in the head to focus on the target, because that's the thing with the elite. Those boards are dialed in. There's a very small diameter that you need to hit. You got to get them clean into the center.
For sure, you've got to focus, but you know, our leaders not got enough time. But you know, Tim and Yannick, like Yannick just needs to sprint as fast as possible, and Tim will keep up with him and then start the wall balls, in my opinion.
So we've got a three-way duel. You heard it. The expectation is Yannick all-out sprint, Tim staying with him, starting the wall balls. They will be the first into the wall balls, but there will be that virtual 30-second deficit that they have. The question is, how big is the gap coming out of the sandbag lunges, and can they put in the work they need? And then it's just, you've got this pressure. We've seen Tim finish. The wall balls aren't his strongest. He's clean, but he takes his breaks. It's good that he's got Yannick there with him now for the double, so it's a different game now. But you got to stay laser focused, and you can not afford too many no reps there. There we go. Jeremy McConnell, Dylan Scott, a red card. Probably handed out from Hunter McIntyre.
So I mentioned it a few moments ago, but keep an eye on Roberto Vitiado and Louis Garcia coming into the wall balls. So their time in their qualifier was 3:05 on the wall balls. You've got Tim and Yannick did a 3:40. No, Ryan and Rylan did a 3:41, and Tim and Yannick did a 3:33. So the Spanish guys there have got over 20 seconds on the two ahead of them on the wall balls alone, potentially, if they perform how the qualifiers went.
That is a lot. We'll see how this unfolds. We'll take a look here at the Germans leaving the sandbag lunges, going into the final ones here. Wow, that was precision work with his heel on that last wall. In the background, we saw that yellow card for the chasers. Wow. I mean, nobody at the box office, well, very few people, had the Spanish on their cards. There's no doubt. It is coming down to the showdown here at the wall balls. Tim Vinish, as predicted by Jake Dearden, is starting off, and he's starting off well and clean. That is very important. Not to no-rep, the way we've seen that from Lucy and Sinead, because every second counts. Every second matters right now on that Spanish duo.
He looks locked in now.
He does look locked in, but how big is the gap on the chasers? Here they come. It is Shedak and Kent coming in with a 17 wall ball deficit. Boy, oh boy.
Have you got data on that? How quick are the wall balls being made?
Is it typically 3 seconds of rep, would you say?
Yeah, I reckon 2-3 seconds of rep. So if you double that, 15 seconds ahead, or 15 wall balls ahead, that's 30 seconds. Oh, it's going to be close.
And there is a no rep for Ryan and Rylan. Another no rep there. So it's 17 now because Tim is still keeping it absolutely clean. We're seeing the drama. We're seeing a race that they cannot directly compare because they know they've got that penalty. They got the 30 seconds. They just got to do their thing. They cannot focus on the competition. 40 wall balls in. And the deciding factor at the end of the day might be that there's yet another no-rep for Rylan and Ryan, actually now allowing Roberto and Luis now to crawl back up to that duo. Another no-rep there. It's a 19 wall ball lead for Tim and Yannick now. And Yannick's got to find his rhythm here very quickly. It's quite normal to maybe be a little bit off balance. Oh, no rep there. He cannot afford those. He cannot afford those no reps. It's only 16 now. So Rylan and Ryan doing a great job to stay with him. Tim Vin is trying to cheer on the crowds. Yannick Schabler, he's found his rhythm now. He is going smooth. Another no rep for Rylan and Ryan. They are now behind the Spanish duo. The Spanish duo is now the bigger threat for the two Germans at this stage. 68-69. This is going to be an absolutely wild finish.
It's going to be down to the wire.
It's going to be so down to the wire. What's your take? Is Yannick going to go through with it? They're 18 wall balls ahead of the Spanish duo. The Spanish duo, they've gone properly past Ryan and Ryland. Yannick Chapler is going to finish this off. It is 85 now for them, 15 to go.
Redemption for Yannick.
I want to say exactly that. If he pulls this off, it is redemption.
Look how smooth them wall balls are, how upright he is, perfect mobility. Like, he's so smooth, and that just increases the cadence. 5 left.
Here we go. It is looking really good despite the penalty for the two Germans. I want to say I called it before the race. I told you, Tom Hogan. Here we go. Yannick Chapler, Tim Weinisch, and now it is going to be the longest 30 seconds of their life. But look at that. The chasers are the Spanish. Another no rep for the Spanish now. And they still got 10 to go. This is in the back for Tim and Yannick. Can we agree? Jake is still not willing to call it.
I'm speechless, yeah.
He's still holding his breath. Well, of course, we're going to wait for official confirmation. But even if Roberto and Lewis, who are sprinting across the line now, come in second, that is euphoria. That is incredible what they're showing now. And that was just the two co-founders here. Instant confirmation of the time. They're talking to our man on the ground. And let's see what the verdict is. All right, that is just double checking that everything is clear, that we're not seeing the same drama that we've seen in the women's race. Here come Rylan and Ryan. Oh, and look at how close Eugenio and Bo got between Rylan and Ryan, which is a typical Bo Welch move once again.
Yeah. Barely talked about him throughout the race, and then he appears towards the end.
Yeah, such a strong finisher, always.
Listen to that. Tim Weinisch and Yannick Chapler, it is officially confirmed. They are the world champions. And I gotta say, I mean, the way Yannick screwed the pooch halfway through the race and then decided, hey, I'll make up for it. The way he brought this race back, that is impressive.
It's incredible. Man of the match.
Man of the match, absolutely. I mean, you know, you
to become a 30-second penalty in a race in this caliber. Incredible, really.
In the last two workouts, I mean, that is absolutely incredible. The Germans going ballistic in the crowds here. Silke Arning hugging them, one of the athletes, coached by Tim Weinisch. Tim Weinisch taking 2 titles here in Chicago. Greg is headed down to the studio. Jake, just quickly, in your words, what's your take on the race we've just seen?
I think it's my new favourite race. I think, yeah, it's so good to watch. It's such a good spectator sport, the doubles. Yeah, and I'm just so proud of the German lads. You know, like I said before, like they're such amazing people, and they deserve it.
I mean, that's been incredible fun. A lot of people had written Yannick Chapler off after that relay performance yesterday, and he delivered on the day here. Because if you look at it, yes, there was the penalty, but considering that their win would have been over a minute on second without the penalty, that is absolutely wild.
It is wild, and you know, the switch was the farmer's carry. Like Yannick just started sprinting with them, and then from there, I think that was just his second wind.
It's literally like after that double red card, it's a little bit. He was trotting around the track like a wet dog, and then it looked like he just needed that one lap, and then you know the road to recover, and then at the farmer's carry, something clicked, and it was like, all right, let's bring this back.
It just shows, you know, never give up. You know, keep on pushing. You never know what's going to happen.
I'm going to call it, James Kelly. That was a great comeback in the individuals, but that is the comeback of the World Championship 2025 for me.
100% incredible.
That is the way to pull your weight. Your world champions, Dylan Scott, congratulating here. Really impressive. If you look at it, I mean, we were focused and they get to ring or like hit the gong there. And he deserves to have the honors. He deserves to have the honors. It's we focused on this race in the front, but there's clearly also a few disappointments in the race today. I mean, quite a few teams that have not lived up to the expectations, I would say. And we're gonna, with those words, send it down to Lauren so she can analyze what I mean with some of the teams have not lived up to the expectations and others have absolutely surprised us. Down to the studio with Lauren for the after show.
Thanks, gang. Oh my gosh, James Kelly, that was the comeback of the century.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I'll be honest, I'm actually really excited I got to watch that, you know, and what a race it was.
It was unbelievable. Like a 30-second penalty. Yannick Chapler obviously just got caught up in the moment, but the teamwork to drive that back and close out a world championship, you don't see that very often.
Not at all, and I think like the spur of the moment decision for, I think Tim was the instigator to really, really work hard at the back end of the race, right? And kudos to both of them, but hey, Tim Varnish, both world champions, the individual on Thursday night and tonight, he deserves a crown.
Obviously, the back-to-back goals is huge, but what I loved about that is they are teammates, Yannick Chapler and Tim Varnish. They work together, they're super close, and we spoke about that proximity. But when things go wrong to get back on track, how did that help bring it back together?
I think from my end, Lauren, it's the ability to just understand that you've got the penalty, but to leave it. You've got to leave it behind, focus on what's next, and really understand that it's out of your control then, right? But they obviously did that because you could tell that they were really, really pushing at the end, and they should be really proud.
Yeah, absolutely. There was this brilliant battle between Rylan Shadegg, Ryan Kent, throughout that entire race. It just seemed to not come together towards the end, but I want to focus on their redemption story, because two gentlemen who have really struggled over the course of the year. I mean, Ryan Kent, obviously not making it back into the Elite 15 after his dad passed away. Our heart went out to him during that period, but he looks fitter than ever.
He definitely does, he definitely does. I personally think that Ryan Kent will come back with redemption next year, and they did obviously really well tonight together. I think the number one thing is they obviously didn't have a lot of training together, and him and obviously Yannick did. So we understand that the doubles is really important to make sure that your communication, your relationship is really good.
And that really filtered down to kettlebells and the confusion off the back of that station, but also for Rylan Shadegg. After the Elite 15, where he was one of the last left on the warballs to cross the line, to be able to bring yourself back from what's a really quite a large disappointment, is that like a motivator? Is that a driver? Or is that actually a really difficult hole to get yourself out of?
Look, it's a credit to him to respond. And I haven't spoken to him personally, but he's obviously accepted what happened on Thursday night and really, really responded well. And it's a kudos to his character. You know, that's more about his character than his fitness. And yeah, he should be very proud of tonight.
Finally, the Spanish duo, Roberto and Louis, was spectacular. They're so young, or at least Louis is. He won the under-24s only yesterday. That is a scary position for the future. He's going to be up against you soon, mate.
I think so, and he looks super fast, super young, super exciting to watch, actually. If it was 130 warballs, Lauren, not 100, they were coming. They were really, really coming. So I'm excited to see what they can do next year.
JK, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm going to let you go and hang out and do your thing, because I'm going to go off and catch up with a couple of our winners. I'm going to steal that from you, if that's okay.
Have fun.
Thank you so much, my love. Right, let's head on over to the men of the hour. Yannick, come over here. Come on, squeeze in, don't be shy. Look at that finish up on the screen, gents. Look at what it means to you both. Yannick, can you sum up the moment for me? You're a world champion.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You need to use the microphone.
Yeah, thank
you. Talk me through your feelings when you're crossing the line and you've got a gold medal. You've hit the gong, you're a world champion.
Yeah. The feeling is unbelievable. So it's, yeah, I can't imagine. we crossed the line and was unsure if we are the world champion or not. We had the penalty of 30 seconds, and then we got to go and we are world champion. And yeah, I have no words. It was unbelievable feeling.
I'm so proud of you both. You guys, you're super close friends. Tim, you've already taken the world champion today in the Elite 15, but now you get to do it alongside someone that has been on this journey with you. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I'm generally from a team sport like football, and to win as a team is always special. And especially with a good friend like Yannick, he has a great season and also a tough season. And it means a lot to end the season with him as a world champion. And yeah, let's celebrate the weekend together and just be happy. And of course, again, goal for Germany.
Yes! Germany are killing it this weekend. Oh my gosh, okay. Please talk me through the communication, especially on the runs.
Yeah.
What were you, because you were permanently looking back on him, making sure that he was all right behind you. How were you communicating? What were you saying?
Just motivate him, and especially I said to him a lot that we could be a new world champion, yeah? And that is, I think, the great motivation. And yes, just to calm down, to give him confidence, and yes, just, yeah, to race as a team.
Talk me through your recovery after the penalties, because it's never easy to get a penalty, but it's how you react to that penalty. That's what truly matters, and you reacted brilliantly.
Yeah, we only have to react to run faster. We have more time at the end. It's easy.
And generally, I hoped also that the other teams get also a penalty, but no, it wasn't the case. But yeah.
You guys, obviously, we have got a long season ahead next year. It's going to include both the Elite 15, which I know you both are going to want to be in. Tim, you've obviously already got an automatic bid, but also the doubles. Is this a partnership that we're going to see continue?
Of course, so we are the world champions, so we need to continue the partnership together and to define the title.
What's the off-season look like, Yannick? What are you doing in the off-season? What off-season?
Yeah, in the off-season, first 2 weeks, relax, to do what I want, and yes, then a lot of running work, and yeah, to prepare for the next season.
Sounds utterly amazing. Tim, after party. What's your favorite thing to talk about?
Yeah, so the last 2 days was just easy days with some beers with good friends, but now...
You've been drinking beers in between?
Of course.
Of course.
I need to start celebrating, but now this evening, tomorrow, Monday, and when I'm at home, just to celebrate with friends. Tonight with Yannick, we are world champions, so it's the end of a great season, and now it's time to celebrate us, our friendship, and also our title.
Beautifully said, sir. Well, massive congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing to catch up. But guess who else is celebrating tonight? Greg Williams, and he's with the Spanish.
Hey guys, so second place in the first ever Elite 15 doubles. You must be super pleased with that.
Bueno chicos, la segunda posición en la primera vez que estáis en una élite de dobles. Tenéis que estar bastante orgullosos, ¿verdad?
La verdad es que sí, la sensación es increíble. Compartir esta experiencia con mi gran amigo Luis, que prácticamente empezamos a la vez con esto de Hyrox hace 3 años, es increíble poderlo compartir con él.
So the sensations are basically incredible. Sharing this with a friend basically makes it even better.
La verdad que, o sea, no hay palabras. Fin de semana increíble y cómo coronar la primera vez Elite 15 dobles, pues quedando en segunda posición con mi gran amigo Robert.
Yeah, basically Luis is super happy because he not only he made a podium for the elite doubles but also for the age group. So again, doing this with a friend, it makes it even better.
I think you both surprised us all in Paris with the performance in Paris, coming through in a later wave in a super fast time. Like, do you feel like the doubles better suits your abilities? Although you, like you touched on, you won the age group in the singles as well. Do you feel like doubles is your strong suit?
Básicamente que después de que en París pusisteis esa pedazo de performance, ¿creéis que los dobles es algo que os viene mejor? O que bueno, luego teniendo en cuenta que además, Luis, has ganado tu age group en individual, ¿qué opináis?
Sinceramente, para mí no es ninguna sorpresa, no quiero parecer flipado ni nada, pero no es ninguna sorpresa. Nosotros trabajamos silenciosamente, tenemos nuestro trabajo, trabajamos mucho y entrenamos cada vez más. Para nosotros no es ninguna sorpresa, yo tenía y venía convencido con él que íbamos a quedar por lo menos terceros. Top 3 yo lo tenía súper asegurado porque nuestro nivel está ahí, aunque a la gente le pueda parecer sorprendente, pero yo lo tenía súper claro.
So Roberto doesn't want to be... He doesn't want to say too much about himself, but he's very confident in the work he does, or they do in silence. And yeah, basically he trusts the process, and yeah, he's trusting himself either for the doubles and for the singles. He was even sure they would make a podium.
Well, amazing, guys. Congratulations. It's been an amazing weekend for you. Well done, and excited to see what you can do in the future. Okay, I think we're now going back to Lauren.
Thanks so much, Greg. And I have found myself a Ryan Kent and a Rylan Shadegg. And guys, it gives me great pleasure to tell you that you were on a podium at the World Championships. And Ryan, after the year that you have had, the 2 years that you have had, you're back at the top. What does this mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm back at the top, but we're close. We're close. I wanted this race really bad, and I wanted to share it with my buddy Rylan here, who I've competed against for so many years, and to come together as a team. And God, man, I really thought we had that. I thought we had that, knowing we had a 30-second advantage from their penalty going into wall balls, just like 20 seconds down, and we fell 1 station short. You know, it's an 8-station race, and we did 7 out of the 8 pretty well, and we'll go back to the drawing board, but I think we proved that, hey, we can compete with the best in the world.
And we're super excited to know that with next season coming up, you are back to this level, the athlete that we saw a number of years ago. Rylan, for yourself, obviously Thursday did not plan out as expected. So to come out, and I know it's not the performance or the fairy tale ending, but a 3rd place finish after everything you've been through this year, that's something to be proud about.
Yeah, I'll take full ownership that race is on me. Like, I set down the farmer's carry too quickly, and it hit the other one and bounced over, and then I had to go back and fix it, and that was on me. And then I'm, you know, trying to figure out some stuff, some small kinks that I really need to take ownership of and crush and like be able to do a race start to finish. But especially on the back half of that race, I was just so grateful. I kept thinking of 2 moments. One, as I was chasing him around the track, it reminded me of the last singles race in Chicago in 23, where we were hitters, dude. Since then, pretty much everyone has counted us out, and like I honestly never thought I would be back to this level. So to do it with you, who also has had a completely different set of challenges, mine more medical, yours more just like life hitting you hard. It really meant something much more since I did it with him, because I know that everybody counted us out this like all last year, all this year. And when I started to feel healthy again 3 months ago, I thought of him, and I was just like, I know he's still got it. I know I've still got it. We just got to prove that to the world. And we were 1 station short, but I think a lot of people are scared once we iron out those kinks, dude.
I just want to say real quick, this is what doubles is all about. You know, 2 competitors coming together and competing as one, fighting for one another. You're fighting for something bigger than yourself out there. And if you haven't done a doubles yet, I really recommend you get out there and do it. It's a special event.
You two are special people. When I was speaking to Rylan earlier in the week, he told me, he didn't talk about himself at all, because he's not that kind of guy. He told me all about you and how we should be scared of you and how fast you were at the moment and how much you were back to your usual self.
I worked my tail off to get back into the shape that I'm in right now. And I truly believe I came into this race with some of the best fitness I've ever had. And I feel like I was able to showcase that in some ways today.
Hopefully this next season I can make my way back into the singles Elite 15, race by race, and really kind of prove that I can compete on the individual side again too.
I really, really hope / cannot wait to see you both back in the individual Elite 15, because we have got a big old year ahead, and you guys both deserve to be there. Congratulations on tonight.
Appreciate everyone out there for all the support. Love you guys. And those of you who counted us out, just remember that for next year, what happened today, because we're not done yet. We're not done.
Nice job, team. Right.
Thank you.
Come with me. Let's go find my favorite Greg Williams. Greg, that was an unbelievable race. Here is how it finally shook out, because especially with the time penalties, we were on the edge of our seats. We have the German duo. That is a lot of goals for Germany over the course of the weekend. And when you think about the new season starting next year in Hamburg, how exciting is that for them? The Spanish team, Ryan Kent and Rylan Shadeg, and then that 4th place for Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we know he comes back at the back end of the race, but that is a really great performance. And then Jake Williamson, Alan Ploy, just having a thumbs up from people walking past us. 9th for Russell and Bottrell. Hidde Wiersma and Willenberg in 10th. It was actually a bit of a shake-up, quite frankly. I'm not sure I would have predicted that kind of finishing, but that just goes to show how unpredictable the doubles is.
Yeah, super unpredictable. And it's the fact that it's so close and every second counts, and when there's so many penalties going on and like mistakes happening and people having to turn back and pick up kettlebells and things like that, there's an awful lot going on. And yeah, it was very hard to predict what was going to happen in the end. But yeah, super exciting. And yeah, like Tim and Yannick, like to overcome a 30-second penalty was incredible, really.
Honestly, how these athletes are dealing with the penalties, because we saw it in both races, especially with this new application of time over retreating, which is what we've been used to in the past. It almost changes the race a little bit, because you've got to keep it in your back of the mind, but it's not a visual anymore.
No, you're right, and it's interesting. Like I think the athletes are being made aware of the penalty, but are the other athletes being made aware of the penalty? You know, do the people chasing Yannick and Tim know that they've got 30 seconds on them? And you're right, it does change the dynamic, and there's that incentive, I imagine, like for Tim and Yannick to really push super hard to try and gain all the time that they can. Yeah.
Because honestly, it wasn't just the men's field, it was the women's field as well. And when we finally got the confirmation, it was Lauren Weeks and Lauren Griffith who call themselves world champions. Never have I seen Lauren Griffith so emotional after a race. That was a huge one for her. Benton Proctor in number 2, Viola Oberlander and Linda Meyer, your number 3. And what a great result for Piergiani and Davy, especially after what's been quite a difficult weekend. Yeah,
certainly a difficult weekend for them. In their singles races, Kate in the Elite 15 on Thursday night, and then Zara in the age groupers didn't have the races that either of them wanted or either of them feel that they're capable of. So to get that full spot was a really solid performance from them tonight for sure.
Also, Jade Skillen and Jana Liebenstedt in 7th. They were a late roll down. Oh, it's been a long weekend. A late roll down after the withdrawal of Camila Massa and Megan Jacoby. So to see them mid-pack suggests they maybe should have been there all along.
Yeah, really good performance. And I think they weren't sure about whether they were going to compete or not, whether they were feeling good enough and ready enough to compete in this field. So, yes, 7th is a great result in this field.
Greg, what a weekend we've had. When we look back on absolutely everything that we have experienced as we're in the final moments of our final elite race, I mean, what are you going to walk away from this season thinking?
Wow, that's super exciting. Like we've had the pleasure of watching a huge number of really high quality elite races, really good racing, and the field is getting closer and closer together. Like the standard is improving, but like there's seconds separates these top athletes, which means we're getting great racing time and time again. And yeah, like the standout performance for me, like, was on the Thursday night from Tim Menich and Linda Meyer. Like their performances, like I think surprised us all. Really, we knew they're capable of good performances. I don't think many people predicted them to win the World Championships, and yeah, super from them this weekend.
The unpredictability of the Hyrox World Championships. Honestly, you can't get your head around it sometimes. And what's unbelievably terrifying, as we've got even more stops next year to look forward to.
Yeah.
Terrifying and wonderful in equal measure. Just make that completely clear.
And then, and as the sport grows, you know, expecting a huge number of increased participation throughout the year, we're going to see more and more athletes. The standard's going to continue to rise. People working out how to train for this sport, more specificity coming in. So, yeah, it's super, super exciting what we're going to see next year.
I cannot wait. And we kick the season off in Hamburg with 4 stops plus 3 additional regionals. And then, of course, a World Championships in Stockholm to look forward to. But that is it from Chicago. Navy Pier, you have been utterly spectacular. We don't quite say goodbye to the venue just yet because we've got one full day of age group racing. Of course, that will bring full highlights on YouTube. But from us here in the middle of this incredible venue, it is goodbye from the elite racing and congratulations to our World Championships. We will see you guys soon. Bye.
Good.